Hey, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. We are giving you some tests. We're coming up on Tuesday. We will be coming up on Tuesday, and then we'll come up on some Thursday, de- depending on the. But welcome again to the closing acumen on this Tuesday edition. A few folks will be joining us shortly. We ask that you please share the show. Please share the show. Uh, welcome, Christian Ravish. You're the first here. I know we have a lot of people watching us through YouTube and on the radio. So it is my pleasure to welcome you here to the closing acumen. There's a lot happening. The president of Liberia is still in Italy, and there was a breaking news today about the employee salary not being there will be no increment in government salary this year. So some of you who were expecting to get a uh, increment this year from the rescue, you're probably not going to get it. So we're going to try to get some financial expert here that will try to talk about that harmonization not taking place and what's going on. Ali Kamara, good to see you. Aaron Zan, good to see you. Watching us from Iadera A. Philip Kadi, watching us from UK. Michelle from RA2 Highway, Eric Sano. Welcome, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. But yeah, there has been a major understand that government will not be able to increase the rescue salary for its employee this year. Maybe it won't be until next year, or maybe the following year. So we're gonna bring that to you later when our team join us today. But in the meantime, we'd like to welcome you, and we ask that you please share the show. It's been great. Last night we had a very fascinating conversation. Uh, so we are looking forward to having another great show today. Probably not till like 8 o'clock tonight. I wish time we will be closing, but some of the panelists will be joining us shortly. The rest of the guys, Grace and others, may be coming. But we talking about the breaking news, guys. If you guys, I probably can do that here. Let me see what the front page Africa is telling us. The front page was just recently voted Liberia biggest print media. Front page Africa. So they carry a lot of credible stories about Liberia. Let me see here. They're talking about who's going to be the next commerce minister of the Republic of Liberia. Huh. There's a lot of people there. A lot of people who think they can do the job after the resignation of Honorable Amin Modat. There's a lot of people they have here. To some of them, they have this. They have Malik Kamara. He's currently the senior economic advisor to the president. Before Baka administration, Kamara was known upon his appointment. He was from Front Page Africa that he holds degree in economics from Rutgers University in New Brunswick. It's about an hour, 30-minute drive from me. MBA in finance from the Wharton School of Business. Wharton School of Business is the best business school in America. If you, that's where a lot of top executives. That's where Donald Trump graduated from. So if he holds a school from Wharton, you got an MBA from Wharton. Not a joke. But we'll see. I mean, then they got Dr. Luther Tappet. He's the current chairman of the Unity Party. You really all remember Luther. He's the chairman. Uh, they say he's an experienced, steady rise in politics following his successful bid for the Unity Party chairmanship in 2022. A veteran educator, Reverend Tappet was considered potential cabinet minister during the formation of the Unity Party. However, despite his prominence, President Baga only appointed him on a couple of boards. When you get on a couple of boards, you can get all your little pay, your little chopping, the every board meeting. Some board give 2, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. We don't know what some of the boards, what are even necessary, what they are doing. But a lot of them get these free money on the different boards and things like that. But really, you don't know what they're doing on that board because sometimes the whole organization is sinking, going low, and all of that. And the board who should be there to actually put things into place, they really not known. So let me see. Yeah, I'm in Muda. Uh, uh, since his resignation, then they got Scholastica Tane Yinka Nimle. Wow, that's another name. She's currently acting Minister of Commerce Industry. She will hold the position until Liberia Chief Executive appointed a permanent replacement, according to the Executive Mansion. Madam Yinka appointment follows the resignation of Minister Muda. She's a Deputy Minister of Administration, and I want to see her background, what she's in. One of the problems we have in that country, I must say that a lot of misplacement of people who don't have the experience, don't have the qualifications sometimes, or maybe qualified in a different area, but yet still you give them job to big time position and you expect them to perform overnight. I mean, you don't know the job, you don't know the job. The fact is, you just can take a engineering job and give it to somebody from a liberal arts department. It's just not going to work. And that's what we're seeing happening, around the country and here and there. That's what is happening in our country. We misplace people. And another person I see that got here for this position is Lida Kukuyu. Mm-hmm. They said she made headline last week in an open letter. She expressed interest in succeeding Abi Muda as Minister of Commerce. In the Facebook post, Madam Kukuyu shared that her ambition is driven by an unwavering possession to serve her country. She added that it would be an honor to represent women who are paving the way for what is possible in Liberia. I will be humbled to serve the Liberian next Minister of Commerce, Industry, and represent the demographic of women paving the way for what is possible. Wow. Madam Kukuyu acknowledged that her bid might seem premature, desperate, or unconventional to some, given the circumstances. However, according to the Front Page Africa, that she clarified that there is nothing wrong with stepping forward to serve when one feels the calling. Amen. So she feel the call. It was called to come by. And sir, she stated that her pursuit of the position is rooted in patriotism and is necessary to bring her expertise and knowledge and strengthen Liberian domestic and private sector and build strong, coherent relationship with the foreign direct investment community for the benefit of the Liberian people. Oh my God, Mana Kukuyu. She holds a master's degree in public sector administration and bachelor degree business administration in project management and trade investment. And it's a where she graduated from. I mean, these are vague stuff. We want to know what the university, you just say she holds a master's degree in public administration, bachelor in business administration, along with certificate in project management, all of that. Experience in Liberian domestic private sector and deep understanding of foreign direct investment, international partnership. She has led over a dozen trade, but you don't say what she graduated from. I don't know, but I would be concerned to know, to show. Well, these are some of the people. We got another person here called Myean. He's a veteran public servant, steward of Unity Party, who has held several governments, spanning both the Charles regime and the Sirleaf administration. He previously served as Deputy Minister of Commerce and Managing Director of the defunct Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. Wow. So LPRC been around for long. So if he serving in that post, that is, we want people to come up and take that position. Uh, Also, here we see uh, uh, President. I'm reading through the news here from the front page. Uh, Liberian government World Bank break ground for $200 million solar plant. Wow. Uh, well, we'll see what happened to that. One of the stories that have been coming up recently. Let me go back. Uh, They said the presidential committee begin interviewing applicant for head of the War and Economic Crime Court. Oh God, this War and Economic Crime Court uh, is something else. Good evening, Musa Cooper. Good to see you. Good to see Washington Fufana. Good to see everybody. We are on tonight. Uh, we are waiting for the other panelists to join us, and then we'll begin. I'm just bringing you news uh, 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 from the local newspaper. I've been bringing news from the closing. I mean, from Front Page Africa. So they have a presidential committee that is trying to come up with a short list of people who should be head of the War and Economic Crime Court. That's what we heard. They have different people. My only thing is we just go by the old group. Good evening, Abdullah Abu Ablaidullah Dole. Good evening, my brother. Welcome again to closing argument. It's President Barker is planning. The president's in Italy. I believe there's a lot of appointments the president has to make. And let me see who are those on this presidential committee that will be appointing. Uh, uh, there's another news here that the government of Liberia, the Supreme Court have held CDC eviction. Uh, the sad parties to conference at Koji pick boom with the police. Wow. Uh, the government defense team, UP for Congress, uh, share the assets. So a lot of things happening in our country. I'm just trying to gather the information here. A lot of things happening, but one of the most interesting things is the government is saying that there will be no increment in the civil servants this year. There's no increment in pay, so they're not going to get any increase in the pay. So I want to know what is going on. I want to know what is going on. If civil servant, they ran on the mantra that the rescue was going to come and rescue them. Hassan Belati, welcome Hassan, watching up from New Jersey. It's people George, new watching the closing arguments from New Jersey. Yeah, the rescue, the perishing. There's a song that people sing. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying. It's a hymn now. It's called Rescue the Perishing, Care for the Dying. Jesus is merciful, Jesus will save. So the rescue people now, bro, they said they ain't gonna get no money added to your pay. No money gonna be added this year. But one of the things that caught my attention here is that how they ran on this. They showed the Liberian people that it would do away with this harmonization that the previous government started. They will ensure that the people salary increase. They will ensure, in fact, LRA was just boasting of raising over $500 million and all of that. So take for example, but yes, it not knowing what the country economy was, not knowing what it would be like. So apparently, some truth was not told here, was not told to the Liberian people. Some truth was not told to the civil servants. I mean, The problem we have here is that the government is struggling. They are struggling financially. I mean, for example, look at today. I heard that we had a game in Liberia. Sierra Leone played in Liberia and beat Ivory Coast. Our team could not make it. In fact, the national team went to Equatorial Guinea to play, and they had to travel back with the team that was coming. They had to take a ride with the people on the plane to come back to Liberia. You know, they didn't give the guys the benefit they needed. They didn't pay the boys. Honestly, you expect Moonstar to perform. No wonder why the Liberian people are tired even going to watch football games these days. Because, folks, if you don't study, you can pass. If you don't train, you'll not be able to make it. And unfortunately, let me tell you, I can say this today. All of those travel money, the $200,000-300,000 that the government used to travel, or more than that. If you invest that in soccer, you know what will become of our country? For example, even the legislature, if each of them were to give $200 or even $500 from the thousands of dollars they get and put that to the sports budget, you know what's going to happen? So our Liberia government don't have interest in soccer. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that really unite Liberia and bring Liberians together. But they don't have that kind of interest in it. So nothing really is going to happen. But yes, that you guys, the UP ran and said, oh, we'll ensure that you guys get the right pay. That you guys salary will be increased. And y'all all want to play rescue. Now, rescue said, the pepper will be how? It's gonna be tough, man. Y'all gotta start starting all over again. It's gonna be rough. And apparently that's what is happening right now. That's exactly what happening right now. It seems like it's not going to be too good for the rescue. I mean, they're not going to make it. So now, who ready? Minister Twe, they have said the fact that it's impossible to change the harmonization. There's no way you can change the harmonization. And they thought they were going to change it. They were the new more about government, I understand that the Minister of Finance might even give a press conference tomorrow to talk about this. I understand. I mean, Minister Garguah is well experienced. He come with a lot of experience from the African Development Bank, and I worked in the sector before. But the fact here is, when something is really difficult, it's hard to change. You have to really work hard. He was not going to make any difference. Okay, we'd like to welcome our sister, Malcolm Shallow Randall. She's watching our YouTube this week. We're going to be going to Maryland for a big Doma Fest. If you're in the Maryland area, or if you're in the area PA, we're going to be driving up there for a big Doma Fest. I encourage you to come there too, and let's swallow some Doma this weekend. It'll be really interesting, really good. But so that's what happened. I mean, the rescue government now it's not easy. The government who knew so much, who so educated, who everybody had all the different things. Now you can't deal with the financial aspect of the country. That's not good. That is not good. It's a hard thing, And let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen when all this is said and done? But I know this will not sit down well with the people. Now, you make impression on we are look like a hero, because you can't even you didn't tell the Liberian for the truth. It was always good to say the truth. Look, man, it's going to be tough. This whole thing is going to be tough. We can't promise you that we're going to make changes one at a time. We can't promise you that we're going to increase your pay this year. We can't promise you. Say it from the beginning. So when you can meet all that need, then tell the people. The first thing the status said, they say in the first 90 day or 100 days, there'll be the road then would have been fine. There'll be something in the road now. It's been almost 10 months, 20 million or $22 million on road. You can't see on it. You can't see nothing. The last time we heard, it was the minister arguing with the minister of tech for technical services, and the Liberian people will say in the Liberian English they were making flour. I don't know what they're making flour for or what happened. Is that because the other minister said the way you running, you're rushing? We heard it was they used the big English word sourcing, that they needed to get project done immediately. So they were sourcing the project and getting it out there so it can be done immediately, so the road can be built immediately. Then you have one other corrupt to the cool senator from Grand that made big mouth. Oh, I was driving on the road. I'm driving before right now. I can drive all the way to Grand that, and I can't feel it. Great, corrupt to the core. You were telling, oh yeah, he can drive to Grand that. Oh, but the man was with President Barker delegation other day in America. Corrupt, lying to his own people that the road all right. People can drive there. Somebody go there. One reporter go there. They took picture and sent it. Nothing. The first thing, the major thing that started with was road. Oh man, we're gonna have road here, man. The road gonna be ready in 100 days. We got to sourcing so the bypass the PPCC. People so we can have the road on. Yeah, I said now. Yeah, I said now. What the road? Yeah, I'm playing that money. Then I'm playing it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some road will be the best on him, but they're not playing it. I mean, you know what children play in food that even when people want to eat it, they can't eat it. That's how looking now, how they play the money now. You know, they play in it now, it's scary. You don't even know what to do because it's bad. It's really bad. You know, that's why people were making noise. Oh, we got another day. The other money to play in it. We rather play in it. The next thing again, instead of bringing yellow machine in, everybody will marching on the street, man, clapping the hand, playing the music, yellow machine, arrived to the Freeport Maria. All of that was going on. Yeah, again, another vlog. It's called high grade vlog. Very high grade vlog. You see it go on now. The vlog. Now new vlog that come on, you see on that tip do not add no money on you this year. Another vlog coming on. No money being added there this year. All of y'all who are looking at, you rescue coming in the first 6 months. So sometimes, my brother, when you see somebody in the area, in a position, don't just be criticizing them all day. Don't just be criticizing them all day. Because sometimes it's hard. You know what the person going through. It's like I come out there, I'm well dressed, I wear my coat suit, put on my beautiful glasses, and I'm walking and rolling and looking good. You know what I'm going through, brother. And that's why we're seeing here now. From day one. In fact, right now, some of the politicians said they will not criticize UP until after 1 year. But it was not even into 1 year when they started dealing with Jallah government. They were criticizing every CDC. The CDC dog. Oh no, they didn't do the one. Oh, look at that. It was fun. Now, is it? The first one is here, roll in the first 100 days. Vla. Second one, yellow machine. Vla. The third one, you're not getting paid again. Vla. So it's a vla. Three vla. We're naming more vla. The vla coming up. This is sad, folks. This is sad. Now you got President George. We are looking good. The first thing you say, you're coming to claim property. Vla. Da. The second thing, you coming for meeting in Tessie. You want a meeting in Tessie? Vla. Whole thing is just blah. So I'm telling you, put on your belt. It's going to be tight. You know, Charles said one time, he told the Liberian people, he told the truth. He said, starting all over again is going to be rough. And that's what we see going on now. You know, but I mean, everyone else here want to see the best. Want to wish the government in Liberia the best. Nobody want to see the government fail because the government fail, the people suffer. But there are some people who have not been telling the truth. There are some people who have not been living up to all the things they told the old man. Don't get me wrong though. I think President Barker has a heart for Liberia, but the public, he got that energy like that before. Let me say it. Public got that energy. And the trusted people that he put around him to do it now, they're not doing it. They're just providing blah, 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 blah. That's all they're doing. People acting like they're so desperate for money. They're coming in and jumping right into the cookie jar. In a minute, not too long, all of that jumping cookie jar. And that's what we're seeing right now. All the major projects, everything. But, folks, stay with us. We got some great show for you guys today. Centenary, welcome. We have a great show.
Yes, Dr. Bealded, what's up, man?
I'm well, man. I'm well.
Yeah, the issue that's trending there is the issue about this harmonization. I learned that the Minister of Finance will be giving a press conference tomorrow, and apparently they have considered that the harmonization was put in place by the CDC cannot be reversed. And the problem people are having is that the UP ran the campaign on this lie about the harmonization wasn't right, and they put people in poverty, along with it was a propaganda they carry, and they won the propaganda. And today they are now conceding that they cannot reverse the harmonization that was launched by the CDC. And to be frank, I will let me just give the disclaimer. We did reach out to the chairman of UP and the secretary general that were discussing about the harmonization, and they should be they were welcome to send anyone, and it's up to them. But it's interesting that the harmonization issue that they ran with, they have lost this battle, this fight. And the last time we had former Minister Samuel Pewee, he challenged the UP to reverse the CDC harmonization policy, and they have not done so. And so the Liberian people, because all they are telling you guys is that civil servants would not get pay increase at all until 2028, and that time will be in election cycle. So they will not have no pay increase, and they said that they're going to carry civil servants pays up. And so that's why they ran on. And now today, they are telling you that they will not your pay won't go up on the 2028 before they will make an attempt. And the IMF also, I think, agreed that there's no way you can reverse this policy that was launched by the CDC. And so it's troubling. And we'll pray and hope the Liberian people should not get so mad and revert into protest, because they will be mad that they were lied to and they were misled, and they voted because of that. Because they said, you harmonize our pay, we harmonize your votes, and that's why they did. Hopefully we have the guy who was behind the IMF, the harmonization, one of the brain behind it, or the point person. We're trying to get him on. Hopefully he will join us to talk more about this harmonization and to defend the harmonization that was launched by the CDC. So let's see what happens. But so let's see what happens, buddy.
Tony, so yeah, apparently what we're learning to is that the truth was not told to the Liberian people. They didn't tell them the truth. And that's why I would say it's good to tell the people, when you're running, tell the people what you're going to do or what you can do. So, but I think there was so much target on removing the CDC from power, so they could build up any kind of story that will just so people can believe, this will happen and that's going to happen, and if they don't do this, the CDC did this. I mean, by this time, when CDC was in power, I didn't support CDC. I'm not supportive. I mean, to be honest, I make it clear here today. I supported Mr. Cummings. I'm making it very clear. But there was so much. We are did it. We are not trying. We are going for this day. Yes, the president traveling in Italy. The next place you go now, you go to the Vatican. you'll relax and enjoy yourself. So the same old 6 and 9 that's being repeated right now. Nothing is changing. They still have they complain when the president travel a higher group of people. They're doing the same thing right now. The diplomatic mission there, it just so wipe upside down. They said even some of the places, some of the ambassadors that's living, you see the place not for the joke. It's a complete mess. And most of all, one of the things that really bring Liberians together is soccer. Look how our national team is being treated. It's like they don't care. Why you don't invest so? It takes so much less to invest in the national team. See how people what are going through today. So I think it'll be difficult. I hope they can call us and let us know what is happening in Liberia. I mean, why is it? But apparently, Liberian people were not. Liberian people will not. I mean, you willing to take pay. You've been working. You've been through harmonization. Some people they cut their pay, and they're thinking that this government is sure that when it come back because the new A, B, C, and D that they will bring everything back to the country. Look what's going on in the country now. Look what's going on. Apparently the whatever financial message they have not been able to bring to the Liberian people. Generally, they have not. They're not been able to change it. So it's not even next year, according to them. It's not even next year. Next year that they will be able to bring in an increment in the salary. Not even next year. So maybe the next 2 years before people even get any kind of increment in the pay. This is bad for the country. This is bad for the culture. So it's tough. It's really tough. Really tough. So I don't know. What's going to happen, but we will get some financial expert to talk about what is going on in the country with the UP government. We need some expert to really share with us what's happening or what's going on. But this is it. This is what they ran on. Now they're coming back to you to tell you it's getting rough. It's getting rough. Tomalin.
I try to contact the guy who is. That's what I'm trying to work on right now. Hopefully, yeah.
And then I hear there are some folks running rumors that they shouldn't allow people to come on the closing argument. we are open group of people. We are free. If you really think you can defend, come on and defend it. I think it was a great thing it was a very good thing that Director Fagon called in yesterday. Take it or leave it, criticizing. I think Fagon Fagon represent well. In fact, let me be honest. I mean, since taking over LBS, you see a lot of transformation at LBS. Let me be realistic. You turn on your Facebook and other things now, you see LBS is rolling. He have done well. So why you want to stop him from coming to talk on the closing argument? Minister Fagon have done very well since he took over LBS. You see a lot of work going on. You see a lot of renovation, construction going on there, and stuff like that. So, guys, this platform is for everybody. It's not CDC, it's not UP, it's not this. It's for everybody for you to come on and share your view, and that will be good. We are heard almost everywhere in the country, and that's how we bring the news to Liberian people. We're not here for say that we are supporting Assad and all of that is happening. So we don't do that. We don't do that. Let me read this from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Information. It said that President Barker, European Investment Bank leader, advanced discussion for a 50 million euro rice development program in Liberia, Rome, Italy, October 15. President Joseph Boakai and the European Investment Bank had advanced discussion for a 50 million euro in rice development program. That's just another memorandum or something like that. The meeting took place today in Rome, Italy, and include IB Vice President for Public Sector and West Central Africa, uh, Chelsamani Flocti, EIB Head of Bioeconomy Division, Philip Ortega Shillingham, and Senior Economist Blanca Amano, among others. The 50 million euro concessional loan, if approved. So that just long-term future thing. You don't know whether it'll be approved or not. But we run with it and making the news. I like to do this kind of thing when the money is already on hand, the deal is already there. But this all promissory note, if approved, will advance the development and production of Liberia's staple food rice. So we'll see what happens. But it's just another memorandum of promise or assurance or whatever. But it is what happened in the country. Wish the president good luck in Italy. Anything he bring home will be better for the country. But as it is going, it's like we are spending more money on traveling than we even get anything. Like the finance minister said. He said former finance minister Troy wrote. He said you cannot increase salary arbitrarily on an IMF program. He said we kept salary at $297 million for 4 years of our program. At the end, it went to $305 million in 2023 account. For all the salary increase we did, plus additional hiring, UL judges, minimum wage enforcement, the IMF accepted these increases. He said the UP guys lied to IMF. They can keep salary at $270 million for 4 years of their program up to 2028. The current salary spending is on track to be above $300 million in December 31st, 2034. So under the program, the IMF draw line at normal wage. For CDC, this line was $297 million. UP in their agreement says they can draw the line at $270 million. GAF must be outraged. He will have to renegotiate a new salary line with IMF. He should be pressing for salary line of $312 million since IMF accepted $305 million from last year. So this is some of the things that the finance minister wrote, the former finance minister wrote, and it seems like this is coming to fruition, and 10 or 12 words are coming. You can't do it. You just can't do it, bro. Y'all have all the experts. Y'all have all the educated people in the world of Liberia. You'll claim to, and now to come back to the Liberian people and tell them you can't increase the pay. This is shameful. I'm not a financial expert. I don't really deal with financial stuff, but I mean, LRA were boasting that it raised $500 million and it did this and it did that. It is sad. It's sad. I mean, we have not seen any real, even grant given to this government, real loan and stuff like that. We just negotiated. You go to Italy, they gave you promissory note that it will help you. They want to sign. You didn't even sign it yet. Issue big statement all the place. The 80 euro agreement, blah blah blah. You're not even been approved. You talk about those things when approved. Then you put it up there. That's how Liberian should be. But my point here is, what is the rescue doing? What have the rescue? What they were rescue? Coming to rescue. What's their rest agenda? Think Liberia, live Liberia, and love Liberia. That was the agenda, right? But then we see the road project. Like I said earlier, they took the road project. They said they were soul sourcing Another word they use there, sourcing. Yeah. So it means, from my understanding, that means you have to do it fast. The project has to go on really fast. Now they not play with that money. Let the children eat rest and just, you get your children the rest to eat it. They just put the soup all over plate and then we talk out for you to eat it. You can eat it. Not nothing you can see coming unhappily. And honestly, I feel embarrassed because if I ran and said, look, I can do it, I can change it, and I'm going all over the place, and it catch up with you, I mean, I'd rather caught up with them. How will Liberia get out of this financial mess? That they plan to fix. Yeah, you're damn right. They were using big English to steal. Huge thing that using old man. Then you bypass the PBCC, and then you got a light who in the Senate who was on everybody there for corruption. What they want them voting say, oh, we forgave the minister for violating certain PPC law, all the kind of thing. Anything will happen? Anything? I always speak the truth. So I don't care what people say. I mean, I criticize CDC, I criticize everybody. I say the truth. I love to say the truth. But they have not lived up to what they promised the Liberian people. I'm still waiting to see what action the president is going to take. I mean, I did a great thing. He said, you know what? The North's too much. Let me resign this job and move forward. Let me move forward. Let me get out. He did a great thing. I respect him. From the day I got a lot of respect for the gentleman. He could have said, you know what, I'm giving the car back. And he still have cars. I've been in Liberia. I've seen the young man riding his Mercedes Benz. He got all the different businesses, the water company, the juice factory, and all those things. He said, you know what, I give it back because the North was too much. But look how they $22 million gone now. Nobody crying. Nobody talking about. Then the other lying criminal from Grand G there stood there and said, oh, I can drive back and forth to Grand G there now. You see how people can lie? But they are speaking real Liberian English. I ain't putting no serious in it. You see how people can lie? He said, oh, I can drive back and forth now to Grand G that the road is good. Go see the road now. You see? Go see the road. He was there. I think they brought him America a few days, so he had that right to talk because he wanted to be on the trip to the United Nations. So he could lie and make a story. He said, graduate the road. All right, look at all the road there that they were building so fast. Where is it now? All the road. It was so soon. Oh, in the corridor. We have this in the corridor and it's going to be blah, blah, blah. Where is it? It's really sad. It's just not good for the country. Honestly, I want to see this government succeed. I want to see them succeed. But when you start all in the first 10 months on Vla, it's hard for Vla. My friend Ben Sanvee said people don't get pregnant from the back, they get pregnant from the front. So you can Vla, but they catch you in the Vla as you go forward. They will catch you. And then one of the things you're talking now. Oh, we increased civil servant pay. In the first 6 months, we will renegotiate the harmonization and ensure that the folks. What negotiation, Anna?
And about it, the thing is about it, the whole harmonization. For 12 years, the Unity Party was governing the country. They had a general allowance of pay and a basic salary. And what CDC did, CDC combined it and it became one. The harmonization all about. You had a controller, a finance ministry making $900, and somebody, the same person doing the same position at another ministry making $350. And what disparity was not fair. So the CDC said, no, it's not fair. Okay, so they came together and said, look, we had to put it together. Instead of having general allowance and basic salary, they combine it. And now, because of that, they were able to bring more people on the payroll. They brought nurses, teachers on the payroll. And so then it's now at the CSA, when you get the CSA boss making all the big noise, let get it into perspective. I could be a minister at a ministry. I will hire anybody I want to hire. I bring them in my ministry, and I pay them what I want to pay them. That's what was happening. And as a result, they change it. They stop. The CDC can't stop that. So no, you can't do it. You go through the normal system, the CSS in the civil service system, and they stop all of that. And as a result, the harmonization came into effect. So that's why some people never understood. But if you are making $3,000 and they brought your pay to an appreciable level, then you're getting mad. He said, "Oh, harmonize your votes," and that will happen. So now that's why the CDC say, "Okay, we did this." One of UP say they're gonna change it. They're gonna come and change it, but you cannot reverse harmonization. It's just impossible. You can't reverse it. It's just impossible. So as a result, that's why the problem came from. So today, that's why tomorrow the Minister of Finance will give him a press conference, and we'll listen to his press conference to hear what he has to say. Because Liberian, imagine that we shouldn't forget now, when you been for 12 years, people are making $45 a month, $50 a month. Once CC took over, they can't pay to $150. So today, all civil servants in Liberia, they are making not less than $150. That's what they make. What they're making from $45 or $50 to $150 today. That's what they are making now. So that's how come people never understood it, and they ran with this thing, and as a result, people believe it that we're going to come and change their pay and give somebody $250, $5. That's why they have conceded that there's no way they can reverse the situation. They can change it. So that means civil servants who are saying they will harmonize the votes and harmonize everything. That's why today they will still make the amount they've been making. So the IMF is clear about that too. And so, I mean, yeah, if you want to do salary increment, it's up to you, but the challenge is there. But if anybody tells you that the harmonization that CDC did, they were going to change it, they lied to you. All they did, they just took instead of having general allowance and pay and basic salary, they combine it and pay you one. You see? So that's what happened. And we look forward to the Minister of Finance tomorrow as he addressed the Liberian people on this issue to hear what he has to say. But that's the reality. And hope people can take some calls today. There's civil servants calling. There's some people calling. If you are afraid to call your name because you fear that you will be targeted, you don't have to call your name, but you can just speak and tell us how you feel about it.
You know what interesting is, when the last time they even got paid? Civil servant.
Well, according to them, they pay regular, but
I mean, they pay regular. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
but my thing is that let them call and tell us what they have to say about the news today, that they are nothing going to change to say they're going to have different pay.
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting for them to call on. Good to see you, Kehleboe. It'll be interesting for them to call and
Kehleboe Gongloe.
Yeah. So it'll be really interesting for them to call.
So Ansu, I beg you guys, you gotta take some calls. Kehleboe, you can weigh in, and I like what Eden is saying. Eden Hills is saying.
What else can I say? We've said this over and over that the Unity Party and the CDC are the two parties of corruption. And part of the traits, the characteristics of corrupt people is to lie. So the UP lied her way to power. That's all it did. And what it is. Because even our economic policy is no different from what CDC economic policy is. The economic policy is go and take loan, steal some of the loan, spend small, and lie on the radio. That is what CDC does. That is what Unity Party does. It's, the two parties are the same. They are one side of the same coin. They lied and lied. So what happened in this going election? Unity Party just show that they are a smarter role. That's all. So they outsmarted everybody.
Well, you get it to catch them now.
Well, yeah, sometimes my mother used to say, when you lie, then you can't sleep good because you got to remember all the lies. Yeah, because if you slip, people will remind you. So you have the liars can't sleep. You got to remember all the lies. So that's it right here. We remember all the things they said. I listened to the show yesterday. If I had to replay this evening when this evening when I came from work, I called Honorability. I was talking to him. The point is, President Bouaka said during the campaign that he will have a cabinet that will reflect a geographic balance. That is why the executive law of 1974 is very clear on that. At that time, we had 9 counties, and I think 6 territories or something like that. 6 or 5 territories, and we had counties. When they promulgated that executive law, or they put it as a statute, it was very clear that because it is in a cabinet that budget decisions are made. So they say each county must have representation in the cabinet. It's written. It's in the executive law of 1974. So it's even by law. It's not by choice for the president. It's written.
Yeah.
So I listened to one of our colleagues who was saying, hey, Lofa gets 6 tribes. That's a feeble excuse. The Constitution was not promoting, the executive law was not promoting tribalism. They were talking about geographic balance. They didn't say tribe. Because one country could have 8 tribes. So that means you give all the job to one country?
No, I think that was just a poor way to cover it up.
Yeah, because, it's all logic.
Yeah, because if you saying let's just turn Liberia to be a country of tribes, not counties. Because I mean, just look at this. You got the Minister of Internal Affairs, he's from Lofa, the Immigration Commissioner from Lofa, the Minister of Finance from Lofa, LRA from Lofa. I mean, you name it. It's a whole list. And I talk about the deputy ministers.
Yeah.
Whole list from Lofa.
So you for the assistant ministers.
Yeah, all the assistant ministers, some deputy ministers, even some directors, all managing directors and things, they're all from Lofa. I mean,
so I think at the cabinet level, they probably have a short cabinet committee on Lofa that
is so then how can the government be a reflection? It's not. And I know President Bouaka knew exactly what he was doing, because this is a thing that people are accusing of in the past. They have been accusing of that in the past. And to see this is not surprising to me. It's really not surprising to me at all. Because this is something that they're accusing of, and this is something that he has done, and then he bringing all his people there. So I was joking to somebody all the time. I say, Lofa not developed now. I don't know when it will ever be developed. Because you got everybody from Lofa in the government in key areas, the central bank, key areas and stuff.
But Peabody, this is not about developing country. It's about protecting President Bouaka.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I agree.
It's about it's about trying to create a loyal court.
Mm-hmm.
For people of Lofa to say, oh, the good old days when President Bouaka was here, our children had all the jobs.
Yeah.
This is all about it. It's not about developing Lofa. Because tell me, when people take their salary, they take their salary to their family, to their girlfriend, they send their children to good school. They don't send all the children in Lofa to good school.
No.
There are hundreds or thousands of Lofan going to bed without food. It's just a fact. I tell even my people in Nimba, sometimes people jump and say, oh, that Nimba interest. It's a job interest of few people.
Mm-hmm.
But when few people get a job, they use Nimba and say, that Nimba interest send me whatever. But when you get it, you don't bring it to Nimba and say, here, why I go.
No.
You put it, you give it to your girlfriend, your family, your cousin, the other people who benefit. It's just a reality of life. But people always misuse a group interest.
Yeah.
Group to believe that I'm going there for you when they're going there for themselves.
That's true. I agree with you.
Chairman Sanvee, welcome. But Chairman Sanvee, during the election, you why you couldn't defend the harmonization stuff, Chairman Sanvee? Why you couldn't defend it?
He said, why I couldn't defend it? It's good to see you. Thank you, guys.
I'm not a minister of finance.
Exactly. Don't mind Dominic. I mean, listen, I always knew that, and I think it was one of the reasons why I had a big problem with the Unity Party, because I knew very well. Look, listen, the CDC government was far from perfect. We all had our differences with the CDC government. In fact, I'm on record for hitting the CDC government, even though I supported it. Supported President Weah in the both runoffs from 2017 and 2023. But on this issue of harmonization, and I remember vividly, Tomalin, when it first started, that's why I say sometimes it's very important to not fall for propaganda, because I remember before I even got the information, before I even got the data, the data to be able to see what they were talking about. We all fell for it, right? We all fell for it, that for some reason the CDC was slashing all these salaries because they wanted to go ahead and accommodate a lot of their people. According to the data that I have seen, and I'm yet to see anybody challenge it. I'm waiting to hear folks from the Unity Party challenge it. Is that in fact President Weah came into power, his policy was that he was not laying anybody off. His policy was, once you are Liberian and you are in the government, he had no business removing you from on the government payroll. Or if you were not even on the payroll, if you were on some kind of supplementary payroll, you were maintained on the supplementary payroll. And then ultimately they ended up doing the reconciliation. We all know the story about the nurses. We know the story about the increment in doctor's salary. We also know the story about how teachers got a bump. Yes, there were some people at the bottom. I mean, there were some people at the top making a certain amount of money that did get some cuts, right? But I think it was all done in the interest of trying to show some fair play. So when the IMF, and from what I have seen, what the IMF tried to accomplish was to say, hey, listen, when CDC came in and said, oh, this is what we inherited, but we got to bring our people on board too. The IMF looked at it and told them, say, well, listen, if you want to go into an IMF program, you got to fall in line and toe the line. So you all know the difficult decisions that they ended up making. By the way, it cost them politically. It did cost them politically, Kehleboe and Tomalin and Peabody. It cost them a lot. They lost the midterms. I mean, miserably. They lost the midterm miserably because of the wave of propaganda that went against them to say, you know what, they were taking people off the payroll. You know the slogan that was sang in 2023: you harmonize our pay, we will harmonize your vote. So what I find mind-boggling at this point, right? What I find mind-boggling at this point is I'm waiting to hear what the Minister of Finance will say tomorrow. I understand he's having a press conference. Now, this is not his doing, right? He came into this mess, so he will have to fix this, and he will have to face the Liberian people. I'm waiting to hear what Garguah is going to say tomorrow. I'm sure I was reading some piece from Samuel Pewee, and Samuel Pewee said, I'm sure Garguah is pissed at this because he will have to go back to the IMF to renegotiate that line within the program. So let's be clear. At the end of the day, like I think people say all the time, right? You can lie your way to power, but governing, right? Governing, I'm telling you, it will not. It's not something you can just easily do, because you know why? At the end of the day, that's where the rubber hits the road. And the last thing I want to say, I know there was something that was said earlier that some of the reconciliation that was done was because of to bring people on the payroll. That was not the case, Tomalin. If you remember, the reconciliation, the people had already gotten on the payroll before the reconciliation happened. Let's be fair, right? You saw the put 2,000 workers, whoever some of the parties things. I think the CDC, if I were to look at the raw numbers, because I did look at the raw data the other day, the CDC hired, I think, more. They added maybe max 4,000 or 3,800 plus people on that payroll, because the payroll was already loaded with people. Because President Weah, that's why I told somebody, I said, that's why I told somebody, Tommy, the civil service, George Weah inherited a functioning civil service. One of the reasons Ellen could do downsizing was because the civil service, she inherited something that was, she inherited maybe even a non-existent civil service, right? So she literally had to build an entire civil service. But remember now that the Unity Party government in 2005 inherited virtually nothing, right? But their wage bill grew over the 12-year period. So the CDC came in with that, I think 290 something million wage bill, and I think it ended up growing up to 300 million or something like that. But you can understand what the propaganda did, and I think the Unity Party is in a huge they're in a big mess here. They will have to face the voters because there were people who voted. There were people who went and voted, guys, on the notion that Joe Boyka was about to put their salary back to where the CDC took it from. And that is not going to happen.
Exactly.
Consistently
I
said,
think more than that was
that's not going to happen.
There was this construct they put together during the campaign that we are no investors came, which was not true.
Of course, that was not true either.
They also put together that international NGOs left the country, they're going to come back. So a group of Liberians who lost job, who claim to have lost job because international NGOs left, not being sincere to say it's because Omio left. Some of the services are associated with Omio.
Yeah.
Once Omio left, then these groups left.
But the truth is, when Omio left, there was a hole left in the economy. Where everybody knew there was a huge hole that was left in the economy.
So they are going to be sitting back now saying, "Oh, where are the international NGO that should be coming for us to go by?" And that will not happen. In this global economy, it's not going to happen. Liberia is now in crisis. International NGO are going to be going to Ukraine, Gaza, and Lebanon. Those are the new area. They're going to be going to Sudan and
aid money led trouble. Aid money led stability.
Okay.
Yeah, aid money ain't looking at stability.
Who believe that Boaga win or the Unity Party win will bring all these international NGO back?
I would say something before people come in, and I want to say this, and this is something that I thought about the other day. Do you guys remember? It was during the heat of the thing. You remember when the students protested? Tommy, you remember that day when the students protested because the teachers?
Yes.
And those kids sat in front of the president's convoy. I never forget that scene. When those kids sat in front of George Weah's convoy and he couldn't go to work, right? And when I sit and I think about those things, I mean, the way in which they were able to turn that thing around, you got to give them some credit. You got to be able to give Samuel Twedding some credit, because at the end of the day, what they inherited, first of all, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf warned that the next government was definitely going to inherit a difficult economy. She did warn on that OKFM interview. I never forget that OKFM interview, because I think she herself saw that all of this money was taken out of the economy. UNMIL was leaving. The UN system was leaving. You got to also understand. And then worst of all, what happened, right? We started our downslope from Ebola, and then COVID exacerbated it. Let's be fair. 2 years, there was nothing happening within the economy. But again, that was the politics, right? The only place that I believe, and I say this all the time, I will end here, is that I believe the CDC was not able to effectively communicate as they're doing now, right? When you see the level at which the viciousness of the campaign, the viciousness of the propaganda, the CDC just was not able to counter it, because once Liberians form that narrative in the head, right? Jallah, you see them forming it right now against the Unity Party. Once they form that narrative in the head, and they feel, and the problem the Unity Party is going to have is because Boyka stood on his ground and said that he was going to do this. And the fact that he's not able to do this, my advice to them is they probably want to come clean sooner than later. They probably want to come clean sooner than later. I'll stop for that.
That go to Johnny. Johnny just came on. I'm sure he's been following the conversation. So,
I think I'll let you guys continue the conversation, because I just joined and I heard Ben speaking. So allow those guys to be on the call to continue. I could probably be the last after I found the basis of the conversation.
As Professor Kennedy, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're on, because we got a lot of financial question about the economy of Liberia. Glad you're on that. We can.
I hope Tomalin will bring our audio last night. I want the reason why I'm here tonight.
The one on the
He said he had a breaking news and audio. From his audience, and three persons listening to him last night have already asked me to say what is the breaking news Tomlin has. In fact, one of them said, "I challenge Tomlin, George. He cannot play that audio."
You know, one thing that Ben said, eight, eight money don't like stability. They like war and other things like that. So similar Liberia may not even get the kind of aid. One of the things I was saying is I don't see any grants and things coming to Liberia like to support the different sector, and all of that. So definitely the government will have to rely on revenue and other investment coming into the country to even generate funds. So I don't know how it's going to be like, but we didn't start it on a good note. Earlier I made reference to the road project in Liberia, the $22 million that they were sourcing to get project and things. But people tells me that the roads, the Minister of Public Works talked about at the time, is not even drivable. I mean, people just somebody just text me who just came back, a strong UP supporter, just text me. So those roads are not even drivable at the time. You see some of the roads that they are talking about, they constructed. It's not even drivable. And she said she's so disappointed. She said, we went there, we did a lot of work, we did a whole lot of stuff and came back, but it's disappointing. He said, those things they were rushing, oh, they got the road, they're doing this. He said, you go there, Peabody, you can't even drive on some of those roads. It's terrible. Very, very terrible. But that's what now they're saying it's $8 million now. They have not used the $22 million for the road and things like that. But we all know that what was going on with the deputy minister was clear that he was not in favor how the $22 million was misused. He was not going to fix his signature to anything that had to do with road or contract or voucher. He was not going to do it and brought a big hullabaloo in the office because information I gathered that funds were misused. They had awarded contracts to companies that probably the minister had shared a connection with and all of that. And that funds were just being misused. And that's what happened.
Yeah,
Professor Kennedy, welcome.
Before Professor Kennedy can, let me help you. I think we should start calling the Minister of Public Works, we should refer to him as Minister Corridor.
The
corridor. That's the under engineering or terminology, Minister Corridor. Yeah, I think that's what we should call
I think you're being a little unfair to my friend.
Oh, come on, Ben. Come on.
You're being a little unfair to my friend Roland Giddings. I mean, yeah, if I get him that corridor name because I remember man don't speak with us saying corridor. Everything is he's on that corridor. But I do believe I think they need to get it. They need to get their act together at that ministry. It's such a powerful and important. It's an important component of the agenda. So I hope they can figure out a way how to find a way to work together and get their act together. And the president will have to make some decisions if they can't work together. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. Yeah.
Professor Kennedy, welcome, man. You've been following what's going on in Liberia and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, we want you to come in and chime in here small. We got a couple of questions we'll ask you, but we just want you to come and chime in.
Yeah, so look, this is something that if you work in the financial sector, especially where I worked for almost 3 decades, we like people like the World Bank, the IMF, because when they lend money to underdeveloped countries, we get to purchase those securities and then we get to sell them on Wall Street and make a lot of money. The World Bank is making a lot of money from some of these loans they're giving out there. The problem with these, when you enter this ECF program, and 12 would be someone who would be good to come out and explain, because here's the thing, what they tell you in public is completely different from what they say to the IMF. Because I remember 12 was saying one thing in public, but when you read the letter that he sent to the IMF, he was painting a dire picture. He was painting a completely different picture. The problem with the IMF ECF program is it's meant to do good because it's meant to stabilize a country's economy It's meant to address issues of, I would say, fiscal mismanagement. If you keep having a large budget shortfalls, and if you don't have any credit rating, the only place you can borrow money will more than likely be through the IMF. But the bad news is the IMF is going to force you to only borrow money on concessionary terms. If you keep borrowing money based on concessions, eventually all of your resources, people need to understand this. Your resources are not endless. They're not going to last forever. They will eventually run out if you keep depleting them. Senegal, for example, they overfished their territorial waters. What happened? Completely depleted. They came over to Liberia, was looking to cut a deal to start fishing in Liberia waters. You keep getting rid of your timber. You be doing concessions on timber. It will lead to climate change, and it will lead to some serious issue with flooding and things in your country. You have to be careful with doing all of these concessionary agreements where the only benefit is your resources are extracted out of the country. So you see why people are catching hard time in Liberia? Because even though the numbers will show that, hey, maybe the economy is growing, GDP is growing, but it's not benefiting the people because it's only growing in the extractive sectors. It's not growing where, somebody set up a steel plant in Liberia, they're creating jobs. None of that stuff is happening. This ECF program, when Greece entered the ECF program, it led to massive protest. You can go on the internet. This is something that we read to see where are some of the risky areas where we're going to try not to invest in. Greece did it. It led to massive protests in Greece. Argentina did it. It led to massive protests in Argentina. And you see the reaction from the people when Twitter then brought the harmonization. People penalized them because they lost the election. IMS will force you to enter austerity measures. They will force you to reduce salaries. So no matter what people are saying, we're not going to reduce salaries. No. They will be forced to reduce salaries. It's just part of the program from the IMF. So if you take your time, sat down, and you were to read this ECF program, it's going to lead to some austerity measures. But people know austerity will lead to protests, so they'll try not to be honest with you and tell you it. But that's what it's going to lead to. So I'll swing it back to you, Doc.
All right, but Professor, before I go to Johnny, one thing is Liberia. How does Liberia stand now with the credit rating?
I didn't hear you say it again.
Liberia's credit rating. How do we stand on our credit rating?
When you look at all the ECOWAS countries, Liberia is one of, I would say, nearly maybe 10 or so that do not have any credit ratings. And the reason being, you see, it's good and bad, right? So we had this high debt. It was unsustainable. We couldn't make the debt payments. We had gone in default because we missed the debt payments. So we went over to the international community and we begged for debt forgiveness. That was when in 2010, you had people like the guy who runs OSIWA, George Soros. He was paying a professor from, I believe, Johns Hopkins University. But there was a whole bunch of, even President Boyka. If you check the internet, you will see that he stood before the United Nations and was begging the international community for debt forgiveness. So imagine, Doc, if you go and approach the credit bureaus in the US, the TransUnion, the Equifax, the Experian, and you go to file for bankruptcy, will you be able to get credit again? No, not anytime soon.
Yep.
Getting debt forgiveness, we were essentially asking to file for bankruptcy. So the major credit bureaus for sovereign debt, it's Standard & Poor's, it's Fitch Investor Services, it's Moody's Investor Services. They all just scrap Liberia off the list of any country that has credit. You can't borrow money if you don't have good credit. So what are we stuck with? We're stuck with the IMF. And then when you go to the IMF said, well, you know what? I will put you in the ECF program. It's for 4 countries. When you enter the ECF program, you can't seem to get out because they can only tell you that you only need to borrow on concessionary terms. And concessionary terms means you're doing all these concession agreements that never seem to benefit your people. So It's like a poverty trap. You can't get out of poverty because you need credit. You can't get good credit because you're in an IMF program that tells you you can't go and borrow money outside of concession agreement. You're stuck. And then the IMF doesn't offer a logical reason as to why you should do the ECF program. They don't offer logical reasons, but they force austerity down your throat. And austerity will lead to civil unrest.
Yeah.
They will try not to, and you also lose a little bit of autonomy, control of your government, because now the IMF is dictating how you can borrow money and from whom, in certain instances, you can borrow money. Then you also have this, and it's on the IMF website with Liberia. If you want to read it, please go and check it out. Liberia is at risk of missing the debt payment because the debt payment is so high. One thing Twitter then managed to do was when they took some of this money, they kicked the can down the road in terms of when to start paying. So they didn't get hit right away with doing the debt payment because Twitter couldn't afford it. In fact, when COVID hit in March of 2020, when COVID hit, the international community, including the IMF, was willing to allow poor countries to avoid making debt payment. Some of the only African countries that never entered that program was like Botswana, because Botswana wasn't in that risk. But Twitter then jumped on it because they couldn't make the debt payment. They took that furlough from making payment. So Liberia is considered at a moderate risk, trending towards high risk of missing a payment. And Ghana missed payment. And Ghana started begging the IMF for debt forgiveness. Ghana sustained some heavy losses when it missed payment. The credit rating downgraded. If your credit score dropped from about 700 to about 500, what happens when you go borrow money? You pay high interest rate.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what happens when Fitch, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, even Dun and Bradstreet to a certain extent, when they downgrade your sovereign debt rating, it becomes expensive for you to borrow money. That's why Ghana got rid of the finance minister. The Ghanaian president, he got rid of him because the guy was mismanaging the economy. The people that should be running the job creation in Liberia, the central bank, in every country, the central bank is responsible for creating jobs. Look at the law that set up the central bank of Liberia. It's in there. They're supposed to manage inflation. They're supposed to manage job creation. They're supposed to stabilize the economy. But the central bank, the IMF was criticizing the Liberian government because the president tries to control the central bank by firing the central bank governor. You can't do that. That's one of the first things we teach people in finance. There should be autonomy between the Federal Reserve Bank in the US or central banks around the world and the fiscal side. You can't have the fiscal agent controlling the monetary agent because politicians would say, let's print more money during election time. And so the IMF criticized, the Liberian government for doing that. There has to be you need a central bank that is autonomous, that will not be controlled by the fiscal agent. But again, when you enter the IMF program, they will make certain requirements of you. So I think I heard one of you guys mention earlier, probably Ben Sanvee, Chairman Sanvee mentioned that Garguah may be pissed off because he might be walking into a minefield when he comes in. He will have to deal with this harmonization. He will have to deal with the IMF ECF program. At the same time, the debt payment is rising. At the same time, they're not creating jobs. Why do we have a Ministry of Labor that can't tell us how many jobs they created? It's useless. But it's the situation we find ourselves in. And until President Boyka decides to bring in some highly technical people, very skilled at the craft, that will come in and train the people. Don't bring them in to just take the jobs. Bring them in to train the younger people so you can create a critical mass of highly technical people in the country. That is what will turn the country around. How do I know? That's what happened in China, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and even Liechtenstein, a little small country that was catching help. They ran away from the IMF. That's what you would do to change the country around. Train the young people. Boost up the budget in the education sector. Forget all the flying around. You don't need the president to go and be begging for money. It's never worked under Ansu Sirleaf. George Weah tried it didn't work. I'm not sure what President Boycott believed that it's going to work by going around. No, that's not. It's good for him to go around and show that he's interested, but it's not the key factor. The 4 key factors that bring foreign investments to your country. The president going there begging for money is not one of them. It's just a nice to have if he's out there. What would change that? A highly educated workforce. If you want to bring foreign investments, company wants to know that you have the workforce to do the work. You got to train them. So, I mean, that's just all part of it, man.
Yeah, if I can just, Johnny, you want to talk now?
Yeah, I want to come in quickly to just pick up from when Professor Larry, left off from. I don't have basic training in economics or finances, but just as an honorary person who is concerned about our economy, and I've always thought about, I've always said over the last 10 or more years, our governments have always had more actions in the rubber industry than the mineral industry. And my concern has been they always had a lot of executive order on the industry, declaring some moratorium, kind of stringent measure by the rubber industry. But my concern is the rubber industry is another area for job creation. But you like the last resolution that President Weah passed before leaving, executive order, he put out a moratorium on the rubber industry in the sense that no one should export rubber in the country except it has some value added. Now, but my concern is rubber is continuously planted. You always have rubber growing in Liberia. The soil is always available. But we have the mineral sector, the iron ore, the diamond, the gold. Those items cannot be replenished as we are mining them. So going back to the concession you're talking about, Larry, just to bring that link, why don't we, since we have to always agree with IMF, like there's no option for us because of the way our system is, then why do we insist on our concessions with the mining sector to create more job opportunities in those sectors? You have a company mining iron ore and gold in Cape Mount. Added value. So if we must insist that, look, if we're giving you 25 years of concession agreement to mine our gold, you must create opportunities where you will refine the gold and give the gold some value that will increase, it will create job creation and also give economic value to the mineral you're taking out. Because the mineral has been deposited there. Once you take it out, it will not come back. The same thing with the iron ore. We have China Union in somewhere around Madam Sarita, we signed a $2.6 billion concession agreement. What's happening in bond mines? What's going on there? Nothing is happening there. I don't think China Union have even created 100 jobs in Liberia, right? But then these concession agreements are the ones that we rely on to go to go through the IMF and the system. The same thing with ArcelorMittal. That's they call the steel giant. Why don't we insist on ArcelorMittal building a factory here that will supply steel to the sub-region that will improve our economy? The same thing we do with timber. We are cutting our logs. It takes years to have the logs replaced. Why are we not producing furniture stores here? Why are we not building the capacity of our local furniture industry in Liberia? All our computer shops around here, they have the raw technical skills. What we should do is, how can we link these people to these industrial sectors in China or in other countries that we can get the equipment here so that our timber can be refined in a more kind of way that the government, since the government is the biggest buyer, then we can buy from our local producers. All the government offices have furniture. Where are the furniture from Europe or from Asia or other places? We don't even buy from our local producers, our local market here to support our economy or even support our government offices. All government offices in Liberia buy their furniture from overseas, from the Lebanese men's store or the Indian men's store here. So I agree with that. Kennedy is that, Prof. Kennedy is that our government, we have to think about how we can improve our economy since we have no other option but taking the IMF money. But since it's about concession, then let's insist on our concessionary agreements to improve it in a way that will create jobs for young people. We have population almost around 60% plus. Gongloe will tell us, the actual figure of young people in the country. I'm sure he also has some information on, our labor statistics in the country. You understand? But I think this is one area where we should invest our time into, our energy into to create more jobs. Because the more jobs we create, the more income we make on tax as a government. That's my simple, I think I learned when in high school in economy, I mean, you create more jobs, people paying tax, you'll get more revenue coming in. You understand? But if we don't create more jobs, then how we pay tax? Then the few that pay tax, you keep treating them. That means every year or every other year, you will create a new tax to squeeze the very poor that are paying the little amount of tax to you. Then you create problem in the country. The last area that I want to talk about is that we improve our economy also is the agricultural sector. Because Liberia, maybe 70% or more, may be living on agriculture, informally or informally, more or less informally. Everyone in Nima, Grangida, Sino, every part of the country in Europe, even in Morovia here, right now, all the wetland is being cleared, brushed to plant vegetable and other things to sell. So why are we now also looking at the way that we can work with our local farmers to help them form cooperatives that will be qualified to get some grant or loan? Then they too will be creating job, and then the 50% they will employ in their cooperative will be able to provide tax to the government. So I think if the IMF is the only source of way of us getting money as a country, then we should look at the concessionary agreements and improve those areas so that it can create more job opportunities, because the diamond, the gold, the iron ore cannot be replenished. And for example, this mountain in Lofa we're talking about, it doesn't have a high quality iron content. I mean, I can tell you that for a fact. My father is a geologist. He worked for bomb mines all the years. He knows the iron content of the mine in Lofa. We have discussed that many times. The best iron ore company in the best part of the world that has the best iron content is Nimba Mountain. Even the one in bomb mines, it has low quality compared to Nimba Mountain. That is why around the late 80s to the early 90s, bomb mining company was about to negotiate with Lamco so that Lamco can begin to ship Lamco's low grade to bomb mines to merge with the bomb mines grade to improve their quality. So we need to make more emphasis in our extractive industry to make sure that it gets added value to create more jobs. Then we can try to offset these credit activities with IMF and World Bank and the rest of it. So let me just stop there so that our brothers and other people.
People can weigh in.
Yeah, Kehleboe was coming in. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Professor Larry said a couple of things I want to just pick. The first I want to clarify is the rule of the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor does not create jobs. I mean, this might be shocking to many people. The Ministry of Labor, what it does is a coordinating arm that brings employers, union together. So we have we promote tripartite relationship. So we work through the Chamber of Commerce, the Liberian Business Association, the trade union, and the ministry represent the government, the public sector. And then when there are crises, when there are concerns, we resolve that. However, within the Ministry of Labor, we have the National Bureau of Employment. What the National Bureau of Employment does is basically just what Career Link does in the United States. They come there, help people prepare resume, they look in newspaper, they write companies, they create a database of professionals, job seekers, people who come and say, oh, I'm a Liberian, I'm a civil engineer, or I came from Nigeria, or I came from Ghana, I have this. They document that. So when there are vacancies that companies are putting for, they are writing these companies and sending the CVs to them that, yeah, these are Liberians who are qualified, who want to, can do it. So they are not really creating jobs. So they are linking Liberian professionals to jobs. Job creation are taking place in places like Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Public Works, other ministries that are involved in activities outside that require something like, say, like LRA, commerce, different ministries are in. But we are basically, it's a regulatory arm of the labor sector, the market sector. That's what we do. We collect market information, data analyze, and say this is the trend and what have you. So, but and I will say something which many people don't agree with. Many third world countries, according to the International Labour Organization definition, we don't have high unemployment rate, and because of it's because of the structure of our economy. I know many Western economists don't agree with that because they have a different definition they look at employment or unemployment in different contexts. Like in the US, if I go unemployed now, I can just apply for assistance somewhere. In the case of Liberia, you don't have that. You either go sell cold water, or you make a backyard garden, or you do something to earn your living. And that earn whatever you earn, by the international definition, there are 4 different criteria will determine employment or when we're doing labor force or survey, or when we're doing labor statistics. We look at the 1 hour criterion, that in the last 7 days, have you either earned $1 from, have you have an income, even the $1 criterion. But I'm not going to go into that. It's a labor statistics. It's not meant for this forum. But here's what I want to say.
But you're discussing on the forum. It's not many discussed on the forum. You didn't describe yourself. Go ahead.
That's why I touched it and I left.
Go ahead.
Because there are 4 criteria. I just talked about 1. So I left the rest. But on the question of job creation, and this is something every Liberian has talked about, ArcelorMittal is not going to create job the way you think about, because they are taking the raw material out of the country. If you want these companies to create job, they have to do 1 or 2 steps of processing before they go out of the country. It is that step that will create a job. But as far as going up Mount Tagadi, that's a high-grade ore, direct ore, DSO. Okay, they just lift it up, pull it in the truck, and take it down. I've been up the mine to Tagadi, where you take magnet and put it on the ground. What you consider dead is grabbing it. It's real iron. Okay, so the guys just come and take it. They don't benefit it. There's no other process associated with that. So all they do, they rent trucks from people like Jeremiah Kump, Joseph, and all of them. They get rent truck from them. They pay their money and they take the ore straight to the train, and they take it out. So there's no process that will create job. So if you want that, have something else that the company involved in. So what ArcelorMittal does, and it will interest you, if you go to Appendix G of the agreement, of the ArcelorMittal agreement of government, the Appendix G say how they will graduate Liberian employment in senior management position. The government did not concern herself with unskilled labor and other associated jobs. He said, hey, after year 5, we should have 25% of Liberian top management position. In think 25% is hard to calculate, Larry. So the guys sit and write that, 50% after this 10 years, or this percent. They calculate it in percentages. So the company will declare to you and say, currently we have only 5 top management positions. How you get a 50% there? How you get a 25% there? So it's a tricky thing. So the money guys, they have their lawyers, they are very crafty. But Liberian government go to this agreement without hiring any experienced lawyer to guide them, or people who have crafted in contract negotiation. They don't do that. You take a bunch of engineers and say they should go negotiate. They are not lawyers. Then you take it to the legislature. The legislature does not have lawyers that are experienced in contract negotiation, even before they ratify to go into that. They don't do that. It's a whole thing. Go to Kema, Liberty Gold, all these companies, they are taking raw, unprocessed mineral out of the country. The way other countries have done it and have created more jobs, they have had other processing. Botswana is one clear example. Today in Burkina Faso, the young military guy is doing that. He has built I think gold processing plant now that they're not going to take the gold out of Burkina Faso. They're going to have the nugget, and the way it is sold in the international market.
Kehleboe, 1 minute. Kehleboe, do we need to have, did that veteran young man know that he was a lawyer before you could think about doing that? You don't need to be a lawyer. You just need to be someone who has to think through the process.
It's
to know the value of it. First thing is, this is a mill that will not be replaced. It cannot grow. It's deposited. So when you know the first information, you know how to negotiate it. So whether you are a lawyer or not, you got to have a mind that, look, I'm going to business. This item can finish in the next 50 years or 100 years. What happens after 150 years? You got to be a generational leader. to go to the kind of enrichment. What comes after me?
Johnny, I think what we're discussing, I think what Professor Larry said, what we're discussing is Liberia. It's not even about Joseph Waka or a particular ministry.
That's not the point.
It's just how Liberia has been mismanaged by our past leaders. Our leaders are not courageous. They are not innovative. The Donald Trump would say in the U.S., they are not smart. Our leaders are not smart people. Have been very dull and lazy people over the years. That has been a problem. I gave you two classic examples before I let others come in. I met a Chinese ambassador who was in Liberia and built, under who leadership built the university of that new campus on Fender. When the Chinese built that building, do you know the foreign ministry went to that ambassador and asked the Chinese to get furniture for that building? For some reason, he and I met at a forum and he just talked to me. He said, hey, I like the way you spoke at that forum. I want you to be my friend. So I used to have a picture on my Facebook page that he invited me to give lecture to Chinese investors a couple of times. You asked me to say, come speak to my investors, group of investors coming. So I used to go there and just give them free lecture. So he said to me, he said, Mr. Minister, I don't understand your country. You're asking us to provide furniture. You have the best timers in West Africa. Why your government cannot ask the Chinese government, give us machine, give us trainer to establish a plywood factory here that you can produce all the furniture you want us to bring from China. When we bring that from China, we'll create job in China and we'll not be creating job in Liberia. That's what he said to me. Eventually, the Chinese brought in the furniture. The other thing I will tell you, which I will close on this one, is it's kind of interesting how government does things. My experience in government, I was there for 6 years, it left me with a bitter experience. And I said to myself, I can only be contractor for government. I can never be assistant minister, deputy minister, and I can only be head of entity. There's no one person in Liberia I can be deputy to at this moment, and that's James Double Jallah. Besides him, I can be deputy to nobody. Because I know him, I trust his judgment. But I can be, because I've seen it. In Liberia, in the public service, there is no innovation in public service, guys. I can tell you that. When people enter ministry, even guys who sat in class with, who were making 98% in class in academic, they become very lazy in Liberian public service. That's my experience. I end there.
Let me say two things real quick, and then I'll give you. I know Pewee just came in. Pewee just buried me just real quick to what Kehleboe just mentioned. I don't know if you said that I said the Ministry of Labor creates jobs, but I never said that. I said
it came out like that. You know, I know.
No, let me repeat what I said.
Yeah, the Mr. Central Bank.
Yeah, let me repeat what I said. I said the Ministry of Labor should be able to tell people how many jobs were created. It's like the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the U.S. Ministry of Labor should tell people how many jobs are created. Government doesn't create jobs. Government creates the environment for the private sector to create jobs. The monetary side or the central bank can encourage by putting more money in the economy through the monetary policy so people can borrow money. The way you grow an economy is you need to boost the financial sector so people who are saving money can be able to lend it to people who are willing to invest and start businesses. So it's the monetary policy from the central bank and the fiscal side from the Ministry of Finance that creates the environment to bring investors in, and the private sector creates the job. I just mentioned how many jobs can the Ministry of Labor tell us was created. Government doesn't create jobs, in case you misunderstood what I said. So I just wanted to put that clarity out there.
Tony, Dan Sylvester, tell me when they're coming.
Yeah, Professor, tomorrow the Minister of Finance, his press conference, he'll be talking about, he said, I want you to please help us understand this. He said preparation of the fiscal 2025 budget, draft budget, preparation of the arrest agenda for inclusive development, current debt situation, new fiscal and revenue measures, the IMF, FC enrollment, and efforts of the fiscal and monetary policies. Just help us understand what he'll be saying tomorrow. And then number two, my friend, my brother, he's a financial guy. Emmerich said that if we paid 2 times, in our pay system change to twice a month, it will stimulate the economy. Do you agree?
I know they gotta get.
Yeah, Professor.
The old mute button. So what Emmerich is talking about is true, right? Because it's the multiplier effect. The more you put more money in the economy, the more it tends to multiply, and will boost productivity. People getting paid twice a month will total about 26 paychecks a year. If you get paid annually, it's 12, right? But twice a month is about 26 paychecks. But it's a multiplier effect that will offer a lot more, in terms of how many times a certain dollar can multiply and create that income, where it would boost the economy. So Emmerich is right. That would have a positive impact. You also have to be mindful that they're not printing money all willy-nilly, because the more you start printing money to meet payroll, then you have another problem. It leads to inflation, right? Because more money in the economy chasing fewer goods will lead to inflation. Look, there are and I want to mention something real quick so I don't forget. The way Liberia is positioned, there are 3 things they can do right away to boost the economy in terms of job creation. 3 things that they don't have to rely on concessions or the IMF to get done. The 3 things: one is because you have a lot of young people that are not skilled, right? You can create some unskilled jobs in the tourism sector. Right off the top, we have a lot of beautiful beaches. We have the waterfalls. We have tropical rainforests that people would pay good money to come and see. So if you invest in that, and you know something, Chief, Doc, and the rest of the gentlemen out here, USAID paid a lot of money and wrote a program to boost tourism in Liberia. That's a step-by-step thing written. It's already written. They just got to implement it. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. The feasibility studies have all been written. And I think, if I remember the guy name, I know his father, periodically we chat with the pops. I think he was at one time, I think his name is Addy, A-D-D-Y. He was part of that group that wrote this program. So the tourism document is out there. The other thing they can do right away is, and I said this before, you can tap into the diaspora to invest in Liberia. But the diaspora will not invest if you don't have good governance. There's no way I'm going to put money in Liberia if there's a high risk that somebody will steal it and you can't jail that person. The other thing you could possibly do right off the top is you can draw in foreign direct investments into the clothing manufacturer business. The reason I say that is because Lesotho is taking advantage of the AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act. We have been granted another opportunity, another chance to make use of AGOA. So here's the deal. Globalization led to everybody running from America to China to set up factories because the cost of labor in China was cheap. The next wave of globalization is to get the jobs from China over to Africa because the cost of labor in Africa is even cheaper. In addition to that, when you look at the guy who Tued then hired as a lobbyist at one time, can't think of his name right now, but he was part of the group that created this AGOA law. Means you can ship clothing from Liberia to the United States and not have to pay taxes on it, because that's the privilege. Like, we don't take advantage of it. Food, some agricultural products, some clothing. That's why the manufacturing of clothes is now moving from Asia to Lesotho. Lesotho sits in the middle somewhere of South Africa. They are doing so much right now. So many women have jobs in Lesotho right now because the clothing manufacturer have realized that they can make it in Lesotho, send it to America, and it's cheap. We can do the same thing in Liberia, but we're not thinking in that style. If you haven't been there before, you're not going to know what to do. You don't know how to create a bond to finance that thing. You don't know how to do that because it's not something you grew up doing. You don't know how to do it. But there are things they can do right now. But the harmonization and things they're going to run into, they'll have a big problem. In terms of monetary policy, I don't think the central bank can actually use them. Monetary policy is just the tools used by the central bank to boost economic activity. For example, central bank can reduce the interest rate. It's called the monetary policy, the rate, to encourage lending But nobody pays attention to the central bank right now. So the only people that can boost things in the economy would be on the fiscal side, which is the Ministry of Finance that manages the budget for the country. So they can do this side. But the monetary policy side, I think the central bank right now, with all of the fiasco in there, people borrowing money, not paying for it, how can you borrow money from the central bank? That shouldn't happen. Individuals. But Liberia is where it is because we keep doing the same thing over and over and relying on hope as a strategy. And we know hope is not a strategy. So I'll swing it back to you. Sorry, Pewee, man, I stole your time.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I see you taking notes over there. So I will take my own response from you offline before you try to hit me on the head with something. But Emmerich over here said he's waiting for you.
Emmerich, he lose out of sleep from a business. I don't know for what reason.
Emmerich,
for what reason he's doing those things. And I think, Emmerich, if you need some help, I'm there to provide technical help to you, right? Most of those things, your thought process is not instrument of my individual thinking. No, I give myself and thinking about what I believe is unfolding in the country, and I believe genuinely. You sit here, you're blind about happiness, bureaucracy in the country, Emmerich. So come on the show. Don't sit in the back. I didn't want to give you credence because you just behind the scene. Come on the show and interact with me. You interact with me.
Emmerich, my seat.
Yeah. So come on the show, Emmerich. Right, I got the training in what I say, and I'm one person that don't pretend to say things that I don't know. Right, so I talk about the process that's unfolding in our country. I'm genuinely convinced of that. So if you're attached, I want to support the government. Left with your thinking, but I'm justifying what I'm saying, and it's part of our reason of trying to move the country forward. We should get justified reason why we should do a lot of things. And for me, if I can't talk people thought process about what they say and believe, then people come and say things about me. No. I'm a very individual thinker, and my belief is in keeping with what is unfolding in the country, right? And I try to attach that to most of the process. For instance, a lot of things that will come up in the country. Now, where in the world, you just said, I didn't want to even talk about that, and I'm not going to waste time talking about that. Where in the world will we go to talk about paying people 2 weeks in our economy? Do we have the means to do that? Do we? We got some cash problem already in Africa. We have the process of filling and remitting the issue about what I want to call it tax problem and all of those things. Do you know the reason why folks in the West carry on the 2 weeks payment? Have you seen any country in Africa, large part of Africa, are sent to be corrected during those kind of things? The country that are doing very well, the economy doing well, the number one economy in Africa is the Nigerian economy. They don't do that. The South African economy don't. I mean, so we need to take some time and go over a lot of things. But let me go back to our conversation. I listened to my dear brother, comrade from the University of Liberia, and my Lofa County brother, Johnny mentioned a lot of wonderful things. But let me quickly come and say this to you, Johnny, that there are a lot of things being done by Channel Myean also in the Bon Mines area. I would hope that you take some time and visit the Bon Mines area and see what Channel Myean have done. Now, it's not like the pre-war time, but what Channel Myean is doing in the area is also very impactful. Number one, if you were to move into Channel Myean, there's some major investment in the Bon Mines area, and it's paying off also. And that was during Madame Sirleaf's time when Channel Myean came in. But I will go back to us, Johnny, and try to a little bit elaborate on this process about people just sit down from the back and say Liberia, and that's one of the times. And I like what you also said that your father or uncle is an engineer. He said the grade of our iron ore is the lowest in the entire world we have. The one in Waragizi and Wanagizi. That's true, and that's part of the reason why when some people like Professor Senator Kupi was in the Liberian Senate, there was discussion about the Waragizi and the Wanagizi mountain. People came to do they carry on some basic prospecting as to how to invest into that mountain. Now, it was a conversation that people thought that should we keep the Waragizi as a shrine in Lofa County or in the Republic of Liberia? Many people have been having the thought process because the iron ore grade is very low. If you are to take investors there, they will spend a lot more money. Number one, how do you transport the ore from deep into the Voyama district there, back to the free port of Monrovia? You need to build a rail system. That alone will cost extraordinary money, but those are supposed to invest. That's the reason why nobody wants to go invest in the Wargisi Mountain. Many people don't know this. We have had conversation with those that have been part of the discussion, people that came to prospect the mountain. That's the reason why nobody want to go there. Even the one we have in Grand G there, Putu, that grade is a little bit upgraded. Now, you talk about Moniba. Moniba is significantly in Guinea. It's not heavily in Liberia. It's not owned by us. You see, we need to educate our people greatly. Moniba, that's what they call it. Moniba. They call it on that side. We now have a conversation with the Guinean government. Let me let you know this. With the Guinean government, so that when they start the operation, we have SPS is trying to do some work in Guinea. If they start the operation in Guinea, the only benefit we're going to get as a country, Liberia, the Guinean would get the iron ore through from that end of Nimba to the Buchanan port so it can go for exportation outside the world. We're going to get portion of that with that conversation with Guinea. We're going to get, but 95% of Moniba or Moneba, as the Guinean call it, is in Guinea. It's not in Liberia. But we had a conversation with them so that there will be a rail in from Nimba County through Grand Bassa, Bon County, Grand Bassa County to the port of Buchanan and also probably to the port of Monrovia. These are policy conversations that are being held from a bilateral level to ensure that we help the country move forward. Now, on the process quickly also, and I want to take some time to react to some so our people can learn. On the portion of what we talk about reducing the thing into raw material, we all had this conversation as to how we can do it at a very larger scale in terms of industrial skills, if you will. Now, you don't have the population. And you see, we've been having a conversation with my own dear big brother. We don't have the population to do those things into raw material. It will cost those companies an extraordinary money that they won't get the reward from. Nobody going to put their money into something that they won't get profit from. Your population is just 5.5 million people. If you're to do a change thing for ArcelorMittal to do a plant, to just build the plant, to start to produce iron and the ore into raw materials, they will spend hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billion, to build the plants. Where's the population base first to distribute on the ground? You see, that's the problem they face. Nobody want to invest where they will not cash on to the investment. That's the problem. So the ArcelorMittal situation, that's the reason why Firestone being in that country for how many years? You think Firestone here, there have been some contemplated action to do a citizen action lawsuit against the Firestone here in the US. You have Firestone plant and automobile all over this place. Very expensive to go and do some servicing process here. Why do you think they have not done that from 1922? They've been operating in Liberia. It is because of the population. We need to be very much, and that's part of the reason why we, the intellectuals, are somehow dishonest to the people. We, the intellectuals, we are dishonest. And the reason is that we need not to begin the conversation about those intellectuals, so-called intellectuals, beginning the process of talking to those that don't understand the details of the circumstances. Now, because those issues that are unfolding in the country about what is happening about our investment portfolio, what resources we have, those so-called individuals that came and pretend that they are retail professionals and sit somewhere that we don't know of. They pretend to know things. Then they come and comment somewhere that they don't have understanding of the way we handle things. They will just say things about the country that they don't understand about. That's the problem that we face today. Most of our resources are not in commercial quantities. I love for someone to come and take the debate. Most of our resources are not, Johnny, they are not in commercial quantity. That's the reason why those resources are abandoned and no one will come and pump the money into it. There was a time that was prospective done on our oil processes, all of the blocks, from block 13, block 9. Now we are start planning again to do some offshore prospecting in river sets. Probably we'll have, there's no oil. People say, oh, Liberia is really, you don't have nothing that will reach the maximum commercial value that will bring some huge turn around in the Republic of Liberia, like Equatorial Guinea, like Nigeria, like Ghana. Those are countries when they started the prospecting, Ghana got oil. That's the reason why you see a lot of extraordinary thing, investment and company moving into Ghana. Ghana got a population of almost 26 million people. If you're to change anything there alone, you will reap on your investment. Burkina Faso got a population huge. We got a population. Guinea got a population of almost 23, 24, 25 million people. Thereabouts. If you were to do the new census, the population will be moving forward. We have had a population in recent time, and that population is 5 million people. Why do you think Nigerian, Timaya, right? Timaya said something to one of his sons. He said he can get all your Myean team people by his son. I mean, and he meant something serious. Do you know the reason? Because the population in Nigeria alone, almost 200 plus million people in the Republic, in our Federal Republic. So I just thought to inform our folks that, hey, this is not about what ArcelorMittal is supposed to do. This is not about who want to do that. They want to do those things. They will make more money, but we don't have the population to build the plant. For them to build the plant, they will spend hundreds of millions of dollars. If you think that charity thing they're going to run? Did not come in the country to do charity. They came to do investment.
What's the first time?
Okay.
Peabody, 1 minute, Johnny. Peabody, go ahead. You want to say something?
No. Peabody, I want to have permission on Peabody and the rest of the
Go
team
ahead.
because I like the way you raise the issue, and I think I'm also informed about what you're talking about. My brother Pewee, and culturally my uncle got Iloma man, and so I respect you for your view. But let me say something to you. In regional economics, it's not about what you have as population in your country.
That's the question I was going to ask.
It's about what you can produce and the rest of the people can buy from you. Look, when you do regional analysis of Liberia is located in the best position within the Mara Russell region. Why do you think they were building the FPRC terminal in Kanta? It is for only people to buy it because from the part of Guinea, the whole far region of Guinea, they are about 24 hours or more drive away from Conakry, their source of supply. But it's about 8 hours or less from Bikana to Ganta or from Banga, from Morovia to Ganta. So if you build a refinery company or station in or Ganta, the market will grow because consumers from Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire that are far from the post cities will come and buy from you. So equally so. And my argument I'm making here,
Johnny, come in. Building those plants you talk about, it is basically meant for, and I agree with the issue about the FPRC.
That's why I don't interrupt you.
That is to distribute fuel in our country.
Let me provide my argument against what you said.
Go ahead.
Give me a chance. I'm coming to the plan. I'm making an analogy that is very similar.
Johnny,
so listen,
Johnny,
the entire
to come and say I want to contribute to that argument.
Yeah, please. I know you're on a vision, right? Look, do we have any steel industry in the sub-region in West Africa? We don't have, in my mind. So if we have a steel giant in Liberia, ArcelorMittal, and we went through the thought process of the concession agreement and included that we should make a steel factory in Nimba or in Morovia or in Liberia, for a matter of fact, and we're producing steel materials. So in equally so as they are exporting the raw iron ore from here, they can do the same exportation of the refined iron ore from and the steel from here into other parts of the world, and that will also improve our economy because then if you refine the iron ore into steel, into a finished product, and you export it, will get more revenue. And then when you build a factory in Liberia, you create job for us. So the issue about Liberia population being less, it doesn't matter.
Why population? The population.
In this case, what matters is the value added to your material. If you
I agree about adding the value to the material, but you need the base to do that.
But that's my point I'm making.
We have the base to do that. We don't have the base.
We have it.
We don't
because the market is in the sub-region, my brother. Why are we buying petroleum products from Nigeria? You just recently dropped a month or two ago. Dangote just completed a $20 billion refinery built in our place. In Nigeria alone,
it's not. It's not
other countries in the sub-region.
It's not to be the right.
We have to be thinking beyond the box.
Dangote population is 200 million people.
We must think out the box.
Million.
We can build a factory here. Our
million.
people will benefit, and the sub-region will benefit, and our country will grow. If we keep thinking that kind of, how we don't have, we'll continue to beg. And Liberia should not be a begging country. We should never be a begging country. Never should be a begging country. We should be a country where people should come to all for rescue, come to all to get a job.
But what you have in terms of resources first? What do you have?
If I can come in, guys.
You don't have nothing.
Yeah, come here.
I just have nothing.
I'm just saying we need to add value to our gold, iron ore, and diamond so that we can create more jobs and create.
Those things are not in huge commercial quantity.
They are. So why? So I'm saying The one you are exporting out of here, why don't you put in a finished product? So why is a major man Benin go a place in Burkina Faso? Why is he Benin? Is it because he got it plenty? Because he want to, pretty soon you start exporting gold from Liberia to go and refine it in Burkina Faso. So why can't pay a factory here? Look, just recently, OTC, just to close out on this one, OTC cannot doing logging here. OTC start doing plywood here in Buchanan. They have a plywood factory in Buchanan. Right? If you can recall, Pewee, OTC are doing plywood in Buchanan, and that create more joy in Bassa, in Grand Bassa. And then we're exporting the plywood here at a high value, and that begin to bring about income in the country. We have to think out of the box. We have to think that we have something here that we can sell out there. If we don't do asset mapping and argue properly and negotiate properly, we'll always be begging in the world market. We're staying behind. People have
Sylvester coming quick.
I want to add
sorry. Kehleboe coming quick, and then I want to come.
So here, what I want to say, I know Johnny has said that, but there are certain things that are just indisputable. This is one issue that is a fact, and people can argue it. Population can be meaningful in market economy in different aspects, but as for production, it doesn't hold here. I just put in the chat room, Botswana. Botswana population is 2.6 million people. They process diamond. Okay? The process of diamond goes out. So it takes leadership. And particularly in a digital economy, with the age of technology now, population does not mean anything. Because you can process, you need technology now to process. You don't need 100 million people standing to process it. It's technology. In fact, when you process it with machines, you might even need less worker to do that. But then the benefit of the country is that our tax regime is going to be taxing the finished product, and it will be higher as opposed, because taxes on raw material are lower than taxes on finished products. Just that when you import finished goods in the country, you pay more duties. Just so you bring raw something, you pay less. It's just a fact of how taxes are done. But to add even to that, on the question of low grade and what grade, that technology, Bonman was beneficiating. I agree that all that was there. But I went to Bonman, I saw the pallets left there. They were beneficiating, They were using technology to carry the FE content to a certain level before they export it. And when they were doing that, they were paying more to government because they were not taking raw iron ore out of the country. They were taking pellets out of the country, which in that view was like a finished product to some extent. So ArcelorMittal could build that because you have your resources. It's just like you go look for a woman. The woman say, "Oh, me, I only marry a man that will build a house for me." If you really love the woman, you'll go look for money to build a house for her. We have our natural resources. If a company comes, we say this is our condition. Why do you think Guinea got more resources today? Because Sekou Touré had a condition that he was not ready to give his mineral out. Today, even what we're having, they struggle with many companies. I know this. I know something I will tell you. BHS Bealded. It's a Jewish billionaire. I don't know if any of you remember during Ellen Johnson's study time, a Jewish billionaire flew to Liberia on a private jet. And some Liberian government official even took a military jet and went to Guinea. BHP Bealded had a contract with Samandu 1 and Samandu 2, and that part is closer to Nimba. It's part of the Nimba range, okay? They were going to build the railroad to connect from Sanogo to Buchanan and build a new port. They took that contract from Guinea government and brought in Vale. Vale is a Brazilian mining giant. When Ellen Johnson said he went to Brazil, that was the agreement. She went to Brazil and Vale came to Liberia. Vale said, "Look, we'll build the largest iron ore port in Buchanan. We electrify the country. If you allow us to take our iron ore through Liberia, we'll build a railroad and you have all this infrastructure." But corruption killed that deal under Ellen Johnson said, I know this for fact. Corruption killed it. They were demanding $400 million from those people. and the people have to. And the Guinean government, under the military government, they gave them 2 years. They say if you don't go to Liberia in 2 years' time, if you don't start to lift oil from here through Liberia, and they put it in the agreement, that it means the agreement is nullified. So they come the bags on the wall. I know these Jewish guys. They were the office based in South Africa, and I was aware of everything they were going through in Liberia. They were demanding $400 million from them, and the men then walk away. Even HPS, it's the same thing HPS going through. The Guinean government gave them ultimatum. After a certain time, they don't convince the Liberian government, they will take the contract from them. That's why Rio Tinto, the Australian giant, and the Chinese company decided to build the longest railroad in Guinea. Okay? They decided to build the longest railroad, going through all the mountain ranges to Conakry. And the guys came to Liberia. I was in that meeting because at that time I was working in government. I was in that meeting. You know what they said to Liberia? They said we have the best of coastal land. In Guinea, the coastline is low. So they have to dredge the port every time. If they build a port there in Conakry, it will be expensive. But they say in Liberia, you don't go far in the sea. The depth increases. So the ship can come closer to the land. So that's what makes Liberia easier for harbor. You know, they explain all that. They show video on the Liberian coastal line. That our coastal line, the depth is just like less than 20 feet away. As soon as you step in the ocean, you start going deep. In Guinea, you have to go like maybe 50 to 100 feet before you start to go low. You know, they explain all that. So Liberia has something that is attracted to mining company. And for your information, Pew, in the Mana-Rural Basin, we have 60% of the iron ore in West Africa. Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. 60% of the iron ore in West Africa.
And as a matter, thank you.
Quickly, please.
We got to continue. I've already spoken for the last 30 or 40 minutes, Sylvester.
Listen, I'm about to leave. I'm leaving the show now. Okay, it's okay. Then
go ahead, Sylvester. Go ahead.
No, but I'll be out soon. I just wanted to say this. I know you haven't spoken. You're saying you won't be political, so then you're saying nobody stop you from speaking. You're trying to get it. You say you haven't spoken for 10 minutes. Go
ahead, Sylvester. Play that political record on me. Go ahead.
No, I'll bring on you today. Don't do that here, man. Yeah, well, it's not, as you said, the report that came by is not even 60. Me happy get it accurate. It's 66% of the oil we have in the basin. 66%. But let me say this to you, as you are saying about the process in Botswana. Granted, I agree with you. I didn't stop that. But the Bears and the government of Botswana own both. Government of Botswana own 50%. The Bears own 50%. Now, you will see to it that the company, and that's part of the reason why we're trying to push on projecting these ideas, that to allow the company, because our government, we don't have the money. We don't have the kind of resources to say we'll struck the balance here to allow the company to do this. And if that means the government won't get nothing for many, many years in terms of what the taxes that we pay to them. The government of Botswana paid on 50% of the process, and the Bears, I think the DEER or something else, the Bears own 50%, right? So the process in those kind of a thing unfolding, and Botswana is the world's largest Damo-based country. You have to understand that, and the grade of Damo coming out of Botswana is of the extraordinary scale, very high scale. So I'm not disputing what you're saying about that, but there are other productive mechanisms that they incited in the policy of how they went about doing that, and that's the reason why they're successful today. The former president, common policy he put into place, pushed Botswana off from that system. That's what today they do. In terms of corruption, the rest of the got good anti-graft policy to put in place also to help move the public policy process forward in terms of the bureaucratic proceedings. So good things happening, but it was the idea of both the independent company and that of the government of Botswana to move the system forward. We had the plan to do it. We don't have the money to put those kind of money down also to do with that. We need those money. Other than that, we wouldn't get our revenue share of it.
Explain this to the audience.
The revenue portion share is what we only have. And that's the problem we face in the country.
Do you, because I've been in mining concession. I was secretary to the concession committee.
So you being in the concession, understand the details of this thing is different. Go ahead, Peabody. Thank you.
Your mine is your asset. The country asset. Your mine is your asset.
But Pewee, you didn't tell me what China Yuan is doing. They talk about what are they doing?
China Yuan they have investment first and foremost. One, apart from apart from the social. The social contract responsibility, they own the government like bro, they in the role from Kakata to bone mines itself, and during the surface streets of bone mines, China Yuan pay her own quota. Do you know the amount of money taxes China Yuan pay to the government in terms of the operational process they carry on in bone mines? So that's part of the process. I come on, you ask a question quickly. I want to answer this, and I don't want it to be back and forth. I just want to answer the question, and we'll move on. Then
let's move on. Let's go
ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's move ahead. Peabody. I know we're going to move on, but there's something I think I talked to St. Tomalin George before. Me, Kehleboe Gongloe, I was secretary to the Inter-Ministerial Technical Committee on Mineral for 6 years. The concession, I know more about concession process. I was secretary. So let me just let you know. And China here, I know the guys who came there. I know the process. No, what you have in bone mines is just like rare hay, that rare mud.
Exactly.
It's like 5 to 30% Fe, iron content. Under China at the time, because they were resource hungry, they could get it. No other company wanted it. Only Chinese could get it because they were looking for resources around the world. I was in a committee room. We had a South African geologist, Dr. Paul Jordan. Everybody in Lansing Mine know him. He's a PhD holder in geology. He was there. He called me. I was playing hardball as a non-mining person. He called me and said, Gongloe, come to the window. You see that rare dead Sally Road? That's why it's in bone mines. No other company can take it, only Chinese can take it.
But you guys buttress me. Let's move on, man. We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing here. We don't get nothing.
That finalized it. Robert been here.
So we said the discovery kind of thing. We're put on the thing.
All in all, my little, I don't know much when it comes to the financial, but I believe even if you have a small population and you got a lot of money, jobs, and things available, the country will still get investment and people be able to spend money out there. That's what I know. It doesn't have to be 25 million people before, stuff like that. If you have a small population, from what I think, and you have more cash flow in their investment among the people, all of that, I believe your country can still be developed and, stuff like that. But yes, another topic that training, the Rawa will talk about it. Then he just coming. We read today that CDC lawmakers accused of being bribed by the executive branch to remove the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We heard it from other group, and also we heard it from Kehleboe, and we heard it from other news media. So I want you to talk about that. I don't know whether you heard about that, Robert, but it's something I want us to talk about as we close, come to close. We'll end on this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible at this point when it comes to those lawmakers. Anything is possible. It blows my mind that the CDC PR machinery have literally allowed this government to get away with a lot of stuff so far. And everyone that I've spoken to have said to me, this would not have happened under the watch of Unity Party had it been CDC in office. A lot has happened in 9 months. Where have we heard the major opposition voices of the biggest opposition party in Liberia, including those in Congress? The other day we heard Representative Bealded talked about the fact that the executive have pocketed most of those lawmakers, right? And so it seems like anything is possible at this point when it comes to what is in it for themselves and not what is in it for the country and those that they represent. And so at the rate that things are going right now, if this continues this way, there's a strong possibility that the president gets what the president wants at the detriment of the massive represented by seditions. I don't see the level of excitement that we saw in January when we was on this very platform talking about the importance of having a divided government, where you had the executive being led by the ruling party in a very contested and close election, and the legislature being led by an opposition in Speaker Fanati Kofa. And many will concur that they had the numbers, right? Not just the CDC bunch, but members of other political parties outside of the Unity Party. And so we have not seen that in anything significant. But I want to use 1 minute to go back to this whole job thing. And like Dot, I'm not an economist, and I won't pretend to be one. But when I hear the economists have these discussions, sometimes I think it elevates this lazy syndrome when it comes to our country. The responsibility of the labor ministry. You don't have to be an economist to know what their responsibilities are. Who creates jobs and what environment, what responsibility the government has. You don't have to be an economist to know that. But I said this once, and I'm glad I was in the back following. I came on specifically for that. I'm glad that Professor Larry mentioned this when he said how you boost the economy right now is to invest in the tourism sector. I've said this many times. I said that the president who invests in tourism will win the argument on job creation in our country once and for all. I've said it. It's very simple because it has worked in other countries similar to Liberia's background and Liberia's history. The difference here is our history is richer than those who have succeeded, have invested, and have succeeded in this area. I always mention Jamaica because I've had firsthand detail on Jamaica's tourism success. This didn't just happen overnight. In 2023, 2024, they generated close to $4.3 billion in tourism, with almost 3 million visitors in the country. This year alone, these guys have had over 2.9 million tourists in Jamaica already, and we're just in October. They're anticipated to beat what their revenue was in last year. Do you know the highest employer in Jamaica is in the service sector, followed by agriculture. Do you know the highest employer in Ghana, our neighbors? 41% of Ghanaians are employed in the service sector. Same thing is happening in Kenya. They have 2.9 million people employed. The highest of that, almost 78%, is in the service sector. Do you know, led by tourism? Led by tourism. We were on this very platform the other day, and we were talking about a young Liberian having to go to Kenya to obtain a BSc degree in tourism. Well, look, let me tell you something. The truth of the matter here is we do not have leaders with common sense. I'm a big advocate when it comes to education. I think education is very, very important. We must improve that sector. But common sense comes in when you have an educational sector that focus more on things or degrees that will not benefit our population in the next 10, 25 years. Political science degree is good, but how many more jobs, how many people can the government hire? We'll talk about that when Simon told us, yeah. The government is already, it's bigger than it should be in our country. It's bigger than it should be in our country. Look at the wage bill. So how many more Liberians can go and get a political science degree with an anticipation that they're going to get either a government minister, deputy minister job? And if you get a deputy minister job, how much money can you make to sustain yourself? So to cut long story short, we have to be smart. Are we investing in science, math, technology? This is what's happening in China. This is what other countries are doing. So Professor Kennedy was very spot on when he said we can do these things right now to improve the private sector. Are we doing these things right now to improve the private sector? We are not doing these things. Are we recruiting the right folks to give the right expertise advice on these things? We're not doing these things, but we come here and we allow the economists to just give us headache. I'm listening to the show and I'm getting headache because I don't understand most of what is being discussed. I don't. But what I do know is we have areas where when you apply common sense and logic, given the current global economy, we can get Liberians employed. We can get 3-month certificate in these things. We can get a 15-month associate degree in hotel management. We can do these things. We can improve quality service. And we can have people come to our country. I mean, we can talk about the security, the roads, the electricity, all of these things. But we can, common sense, ecotourism, cultural tourism will create thousands of jobs in Liberia. But we have political, folks that lack common sense, and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
Yes, honestly, like I always said, the big problem we have in our country is leadership. Until we get that right person with that vision, all what we're saying here is just Vlad. Honestly, because you need someone with the leadership who has the vision to move the country forward, who would think about how we're thinking. But if you don't have the person with a leadership mind, we just waste our time. Because you know what happened. Got Firestone. Firestone been around for how many years? And only today we found out an Indian man had to come and open a factory in Magibie there to start making finished product, rubber products. And that Indian man, that guy got our whole country, almost the country, the people in the country on his payroll. And so that's why. So you're expecting to succumb to any of these guys? No. So that's our problem. We need.
So Western people say we have the population.
We need leadership. We get the right president in a country who has the vision, move the country forward, the political will. All these things can happen. But until then, we're just going to be talking every day, talking great ideas. So that one of the big problem with leadership. So that's why you don't.
It's more than leadership. Also,
it's leadership. If you don't have the right person as head of the country, you cannot. You need innovation. You're not going to move forward. But quickly, guys.
Tomalin has 3 things.
I want to chime in on anything quick. I beg you.
Okay, go ahead.
To Kehleboe, go ahead. Sorry. After you. I was trying because I know Tomalin wanted to go to another topic. That's why I said
I'm just adding to Tomalin that leadership, innovation, and courage. You may have the innovation. If you don't have the courage to stand by what you decide to go for, you may buckle down once people criticize you.
Well, yeah, listen. So I agree with man. I'm spot on. Robert is spot on. I mean, I can hear the passion oozing out of his pores when it comes to this tourism thing. I hope President Boyga should reach out to you, Robert. I think it's important. Maybe they should set up some kind of tourism board. I mean, I'm sure you'll do it free. You're not asking government for money. I think it's important because we have to tap into the expertise that we have that's available, right? But I totally agree with you. I think there is a need for investment. We have to put our money where our mouths are. And if we're serious about leapfrogging the country, moving the country into the next dimension, we don't necessarily we can focus on, I think it's something Alexander Cummings talked about during the campaign. When you focus heavily on ecotourism, you have a lot of that, and we see it right now in the Nimba Eco Lodge, all these different eco lodges that's popping up and down. You have to be very, very deliberate in your attempt to want to see this thing happen. So I agree with Robert on it 100%. I think the government needs to be very, very proactive. If they're serious about raising revenue, this is one easy way they can raise a lot of revenue. I know we're talking about moving our national budget to $1 billion. Hey, how about I move it to 2.2 billion? Just open the country up. And make sure you sell the country. One of the problems we have in Liberia is there's not a good narrative about the country. When you Google Liberia, you still see Ebola, you still see COVID. Google Rwanda. When you see them talking about the genocide, it's more from a lesson-based perspective that you see them talking about it. You see when you hear them talk about genocide, you know what they talk about? They're talking about the genocide memorial. When you look at countries like you talk about Jamaica, all these smaller countries, all these Caribbean countries, they are deliberate. I want to see when I get on a flight heading into any part of the world, I want to see a promo of Liberia on international airlines. These things are very simple to do, but it takes innovation. That's where the National Investment Commission comes in. This is where you should have a national tourism board. You need innovative people who are thinking outside of the box. This is not your regular Liberian what it need. I will say thing. They're not these things. That's not how it works. You need critical thinkers, somebody who will come to do promo videos, put it out there, pay for it. When you look at Arsenal playing, you look at Arsenal jersey, you see Visit Rwanda. These are innovation. These are innovative ideas. Do you know how many people visit Rwanda just because they see it on Arsenal jersey? Do you know how many people visit Rwanda when they go to an Arsenal game, they see Rwandan tourism promo? So guess what? Sign a deal with a football club, right? That's one of the things that I always said, that I thought we underutilized the celebrity and the power of George Weah and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Liberia should be a mecca for women leadership. Every major women conference should be held in Liberia, because you know what? We gave birth to the first female elected president on the African continent. I don't know why we're not utilizing it. Oh, but we can't utilize it because we know how to maintain and to keep things. You have George Weah walking memorial. I see my friend and brother Kalasco posting pictures of the former president. People rushing to him to sign for his autograph. Why did we not use that star power? That was a sword in the eye of the CDC administration. They did not leverage the celebrities that they had to their disposal. You want us to talk about tourism? I think that is kind of like where we want to leapfrog into. That's my thought on the whole tourism thing. But I agree with Robert, and I think it's something that definitely needs to be invested. Yeah.
Quickly, guys, before we leave, I want to say this. I want to as a warning. What the rumor we're hearing about this CDC guys, I hope it's a rumor. I hope it's not.
Oh no. But Tommy, it's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. I can confirm. In fact, one of the reasons why I was not on the show, I was on a strategy call. I was listening to a strategy call. I can confirm. I can say it publicly now because I've been authorized to say it. This is bribery at the highest again. 15,000 each to majority of they're moving 15,000 each around to the lawmakers, right? And guess what? The money is 600,000 that has come out of the Ministry of Transport budget.
No, internal affairs, right? Or transport?
No, transport. Transport is confirmed now. Further said was internal affairs. Now it's confirmed that the line item was out of the transport ministry budget. 600,000. They want to look. We waste our time again. Like I say, this is. But the good news is that I think it's been exposed. A lot of folks now who are being offered this money are the ones who are coming and they're bringing it up and letting people to know and letting the folks know. But I think you've been seeing.
But Chairman, on a serious note, it will be a complete fatal mistake for them to attempt in our direction. Look, we can debate with the speaker whether he talked with the president or not is another debate. But you have three blocks in the house. You have the independent block of 15 members, the rescue block, and the CDC block. In order to remove the speaker, you need 37 person to vote to remove the speaker. Now, if you attempt and allow the speaker to be removed, if you think a seditian will get that position again, you make a mistake. I mean, you are considering giving the government.
But Tommy, you remember this was the argument I was making yesterday. Everybody was trying to jump down.
If you attempt to do that, you're giving the government to the ruling party. Honestly, and you can have people regret it.
I disagree. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Here is the reason. We'll listen to honorability on the show. Not once, twice. Yesterday being the latest. Honorability said, when we sit on the show and talk, we talk about opposition. There's no opposition in the legislature. What is in the legislature is there are a group of seditians who have access to money, who Fonante Kofa has made in chair of powerful committee. And there are some Unity Party people who also are members of powerful committee. they are all united in debt because they have access to money to steal. So those people are they belong to one interest. So, virtual political party. So their interests are tied together. So those seditionists and the Unity Party people are together. Then there is a second group of people, the Unity Party people who don't have that access to money, and the CDC people who don't have access to that money. They too are considered one opposition on the other side. So those who are making the money are not the one that Unity Party going to give them money, maybe that it just satisfy people.
Kehleboe, let me provide you some information. Apparently, clearly, you're entitled to your opinion, which I respect. But I can tell you this goes way beyond. And let me say this. This is one of the things that, and I personally told the speaker this. I told him this day was probably going to come because one of the things that they're concerned about, they're concerned about is this audit, right? Some of the folks and some of the people who are involved in this, we know, are people who are former members of the House of Representatives, right? Who are afraid. Now I can tell you, I know for sure because
the Ways and Means people who all held that position before, they are the ones.
It has been open. The spigot is open now, right? So that's what's happening, right? This is not just necessarily CDC Unity Party. I said it yesterday on the show. We don't really have ideological differences when it comes to our political parties in Liberia. We have mixture of personalities. We're not like the Republicans and the Democrats, where you see the Republicans are pro-abortion, the Democrats are pro-life, and the Democrats are pro-choice. We don't have none of that in Liberia. What we have is a multiplicity of individuals, right, and different interests. That's what you have. So that's what I was trying to say yesterday when people were making the analogy that, it's because you can't attack the president and do this and so and so. For me, I say, and I will say it again, the good news here is, and I say the good news because I consistently will say this, I know the level of reform. It may be slow, but I know some of the reforms that KOFA is instituting when it comes to that national legislature or to that House of Representatives. I personally know it. He may not have made it public. It may not be public yet. Maybe he's taking his time to make it public. But I know one of the corn that is in these guys' shoes. And Musa now, guess what? Musa now is becoming the champion of this. Because guess what? Musa has been the one pushing this debate about let's audit the house. I mean, pray God tell me, since the beginning of our political dispensation. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Go for system audit.
But that's what I'm saying, Kehleboe. Since the beginning of our political dispensation, the national legislature has not been audited.
Yeah. And now we have spent more than $600 million.
Exactly. Of taxpayers' money. How can you say you cannot be audited? Now you have a speaker who is saying, now you know what? Let's begin. I think at first, listen, and like I said, I think at first he was trying to make it to take it a little diplomatic. He was trying to do so and so and so. But from what I've been informed, is that some of the things that have been uncovered is what they are trying to push against. They're trying to push against it, and they're trying to use the carrot and stick approach, trying to hold a gun to his head and say, you know what? We got the numbers already on our side. If this happens, right? If this happens, we'll go ahead and move to remove you.
So, but let me ask one question. So, what is the interest, or what is at stake to have the speaker removed? What is at stake? How does it? Ben, what is at stake? Meaning, we have a country where we are looking at how we can improve our economy to create jobs. People should have source of income.
They're not thinking about that.
Don't worry about that, Johnny.
They're thinking about Johnny. They're thinking about for themselves.
Johnny, you know what? You know what is at stake here? You ask the question, what is at stake? People behind are about to be exposed. That's what's at stake. That's what at stake. You have Musa call it a money laundering scheme, right? You have a situation where you have key people, and this is people, high-level people in the CDC. There are folks in that CDC caucus who were involved in a lot of dubious things. And this is why an audit is not something they want to hear. This is why they don't want to hear, because guess what? Now the audit will be made public. So this is how, now they're going to go ahead. So when you see them giving 15,000 or promising 15,000 coming from the line item of the Ministry of Transport budget. You know what is $600,000? You coming to waste our time to say you coming to remove us?
That is the point. Look, Ben. Look, the reason why I'm saying this is the work I do. I spend 95% of my time in rural Liberia. I still see people. The last time I went to one village, to see the hair for the village, the old man, the hair for the women. She was busy helping to give birth, serving as a midwife.
Yeah.
That village has no access to clean water. They walk into the creek where they gotta go get creek from, and that baby coming into the water to receive dirty water to be bathed with and all that in there. That kind of country we got in this place here.
Exactly.
Look, I'm telling you guys some things. I don't speak out of the sky. Since 2008. I've lived the length and breadth of Liberia. I've seen this country to the point that I'm wondering, where are we going with this kind of idea? Why will you prioritize removing a speaker to spend $600,000 and don't we try to spend $5,000 on each community to get an access to safe drinking water?
Thank you.
That will save their life.
Look, I mean, it will be a fatal mistake to attempt to do it because the opposition will competed lost the speakership and they will go to the ruling unity party.
Yeah, but Tommy, I can tell you it's not going to happen because some of the folks right now who were being reached out to are the ones who are now spilling the beans. How did people know? How are we getting the information now that it's all of the Ministry of Transport land budget? We know some of the players who are involved in moving the money around.
And Ben,
we're going to expose them.
It's all about 2029. All about 2029.
It's a place. 2029.
They're trying to do now. And they're going to infiltrate. They're going to form a block.
But I would say this, and I would say this. This is my message to Speaker Kofa. And I would say this to him. Audit the place. Make it public. Heck, audit it, right? Audit the place. Go ahead and do a total shakeup of the place, because at the end of the day, I can understand that a branch of government will be operational and use millions, hundreds of millions of the Liberian people dollar and determine that they don't want to be audited because you know what, they've been doing a lot of diddy-ba. And look, I want to salute Representative Musa Bealded. I know he's been working the phones. I even saw, if you notice, I've been seeing his Facebook page. This is serious. This is a total distraction. I want to call on the president. The president, you better make some phone calls because if you want a situation, because this has the propensity to slow down the progress of the country. Exactly. It has the propensity to slow down the progress of the country. Whether you like Kofa or not, Kofa is not a lame duck. He's not someone who's sitting on his hands. He will fight back. And when he fight back, it's not going to be good for the country. This is totally wrong. Why would you take $600,000 from there? You put $600,000. So, and you know what it shows now? It shows that what they're doing is padding the budget. But
why do you think the highest amount of sanctions come from the legislature? Why? Who on sanctions today the highest in the legislature? Because they have been willing and dealing for the last 18 plus years. All they have been doing. Why do you think the Americans will sanction? Most of our lawmakers are sanctioned because they have been involved in willing and dealing.
Padding the budget.
Yeah, what they've been doing.
Money here and there.
And they expect most to be sanctioned.
This is what they've done over the years, and it's coming full circle now. And people are now saying, and like I said, there are high-level people. I'm not privy to call certain names right now, but I can tell you high-level folks who are involved in this because they are afraid that their behinds are about to be exposed.
Let me repeat. One of the senators actually called on me. He said the vice president was giving justification for removing
Ben, right? Yeah. Ben sent this as a serious
comment. It's in the comment. It's not my
what is
the comment?
Yeah.
Ben and about it.
Yeah,
what is the president involved with it? Does he see as a good thing to be done?
Well, I don't know yet. We don't know yet. The president is not in the country, so we don't know yet. We don't know the magnitude to how far it's gone. But I would say for $600,000 to show up on a budget line and it's being used.
No, Ben, that's not my concern. My concern is what is the president's interest in the auditing of the legislature? Does he want it to happen? Is it behind
I don't know if the president wants it. I don't know if the president wants it to happen. Let me tell you why. Because the president also has the power to be able to commission an audit of the national legislature. The leadership of the national legislature and the GSC has the authority to go ahead and audit any entity that spends government money. So I don't know if the president wants it. Maybe the president doesn't want to rub them off the wrong way. Listen, I don't know. I can speak for the presidency. What I do know,
if the president is interested into this matter, he can stand the thing. It can happen whether you remove Kofa or not. They can ensure that the audit go on with legislature. He has that opportunity.
Yeah, but I can tell you, if they succeed in removing him, then the issue of the audit dies, because guess what? Any speaker that comes, capitulates to them. He bows to them, right? To say, listen, let leader anything I send the bush. That's so bush here. No, because and I'm also aware that there are some senators who are involved in this. Some key senators who were in the House of Representatives. Some of them are involved in this plot. And we are aware, we know their names, but like I said, the story is unfolding. The story is unfolding. And there will be no hesitation when it comes to making these things public, because at the end of the day, like I said, there's no real ideological divide in Liberia to say left versus right. I know now we get blue.
That's corruption. What they're doing, they are corruption, and it should not get away free with it.
But why the mere fact that we're even discussing, you know what? I don't even know if I want to say this, because it could be. I think it's the reality, right? Because the president literally have his thumbs and control on the legislature. I mean, because he gets what he wants anyway. No one stands up to him. No one questions him. No one says no to him. So, but in the real world, why should the president even be involved in the auditing of the legislature?
So no, the president don't have to be involved. He's not, but he has the authority. He's one of the folks, right? One of the authorities that have the authority to be able to commission an audit of the national legislature. He can do that. He can mandate Jallah, he mandated the GSC to audit the National Security Agency, but then he decommissioned it. You see what I'm saying?
But you have to have a legitimate reason, right?
The legitimate reason is that they spent Liberian poor money in the last 20-something years, and they've never been audited. Do you understand, Robert, that this is the only branch of the Liberian government?
I'm laughing because the president has stated himself has spent a lot of money, and we don't know.
No, but at least there are audits in the executive, right? The executive get audited all the time. I mean, it's standard operating procedure.
No, but
audited all the time.
Yeah, there are some things. There are some things. The president does not commission audit of the legislature.
He have the authority to do so.
No, 100%.
Pewee. The president of Liberia is one of the authorities that can commission an audit of the national legislature. He can request the GSC to do that. He is the head of government.
No, so I come in 1 minute here.
He doesn't have to interfere.
No, he cannot commission audit of the legislature. The president cannot. Now, the law, the GSC law now currently, we agree as an imperial presidency one we want to talk about, but the law of the General Auditing Commission, when it was amended from 1992 to 2005, as a matter of fact, the Auditor General reports to the legislature.
True.
The president does not commission an audit of the legislature. No, nowhere there. No, the president does not. No, listen.
I will finally show it to you. I will send it to you.
Ben, if you show that point to me, I will never appear on the show.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You put your appearance on the line.
Oh, Robert.
You put your appearance on the line.
Robert, the
president
cannot.
The man
what the president can do. One minute, Ben.
I won't be clear, though. I won't be clear.
I said
the president can commission, he can request that an audit of the legislature, that the GSC audit the legislature. The GSC doesn't report to the president. That is a fact.
The president cannot.
The GSC reports to the legislature. Now, when the audit reports are done, they send it to the legislature. That's what they do.
I agree.
Right.
The president cannot.
What is the statutory mandate of the commission? What is the statutory mandate of the commission?
The president cannot. The president cannot commission an audit of the legislature. Yes, what can happen? The president can express a continuous flash audit of a member of the executive branch. For instance, something going on, the president can instruct the GSC, and that would be an extra money being paid for the GSC to do those things. But again, back in the days when the first time the general auditing, there was an attempt of John Modu to audit 2 major institutions in the country. 2. and he failed in those things.
Mhm.
And I can remember John, when we had a conversation with us saying, even Johnny Lewis had threatened the former Auditor General in some other way or something of the to order the legislature and the judiciary.
But Johnny Lewis, the chief, because he threatened him, mean they can't do it.
No, I know.
So that's what I'm telling you.
I know. I'm coming there. They can't do it. But
Okay.
do you know the reason why the legislature are not allowed? Now, the first thing Modu did was to put into place. Told them, okay, we cannot come now and say we're coming to do basic straightforward financial audit here. What we can do here is to do what we call a system audit. Because at the time they agreed, Modu agreed that there was nothing in place. They would do a system audit to put everything in place. Even the level of the system audit, they told them to put system in place. They refused a year to that. If you are to audit the legislature, I agree with all the things we're saying here today. That to audit the legislature, there will be huge bump. Rather that maybe it will hit your city, Atlanta. There will be huge,
let me give a breaking news. I just received information that the CDC Legislative Caucus is calling a meeting or at 11 a.m. in the Deputy Speaker's office to discuss this. I think this is gaining. I've just received the text that was sent from the chair of the CDC Legislative Caucus, who happens to be Senator Nathaniel McGill, and he was instructing Representative Safoko to call a CDC Emergency Caucus meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Again, like I said,
what's the essence of this? These guys are not even. Are they even voting together? Or are they? What's?
Well, I mean, for me, it clearly shows that I guess the boss, the bag not boss.
It appears, but look, I'm not cutting you guys up. I've heard credible stories from very credible friends that there are money on hand right now. Those guys have money on hand right now to try to remove the speaker. I'm telling you, it's from somebody within the same caucus.
That's true. What people are saying, I can attest to it. That's true.
Right now, is this how they're going to run the government for no reason? You just plan to remove your own speaker. Is this how the government going to be? Okay. Is this how you're going to do it? If you bring another speaker, you're going to do the same thing? Is that how they're going to lead, especially as an opposition? Is that what you do? Why not call a meeting with a speaker and say not telling you, this is our like and this is our dislike? Are you just going to start taking money and stop bribing? A second they gave you money and you're moving it around because they want somebody from that party?
Everybody, listen to what Ben said.
Who removed us? No.
This thing is not coming from, I don't think that thing is coming from the executive branch.
Who influenced the removal?
No, they are part of it. If they were listen, I want to be clear. This is not. I don't know. I don't have any evidence to show that the president is doing this. I want to be.
The president is not doing this. The executive is not doing it.
I don't. No. You can't say that.
No,
there are elements in the executive. If the money came from the Ministry of Transport and Budget at the executive.
Who influenced the removal of Snow? Who influenced the removal of Tyler?
Yeah, yeah, 1 minute. Okay, yeah, good. No question, Ben.
Yes, who influenced the removal of the two speakers?
When the process started from President Sirleaf to get rid of any snow, it started from the president. President Sirleaf initiated any snow removal. President Sirleaf also initiated Tyler removal.
And it's Tyler removal.
Right? So there's nothing that will come. Who the minister that would approve 600,000 if the president did not acquiesce that?
But that's what I just said to you. It comes from the executive.
Guys, listen. I have one suggestion to make. I think we've heard it. We talk a lot on this. We don't have clear evidence. We hear from different sources. But I want to just.
Oh no, Kehleboe, we do have evidence.
All right. You got some of them. You got the 50. You got your 15,000.
No. I don't remember the horse, but I got evidence that the money is coming from the land budget of the Ministry of Transport.
All right. But
is it there for that purpose?
Hey man, Pewee man, stop giving me hard time, man.
Ask you a question,
Ben. Is it there for what purpose? The people took 700,000 from the land budget and dividing it around to remove the speaker. They say you know, the land budget say remove our speaker.
That means they're not getting the money, so we take 700,000.
Last night's show, I listened to last night's show. I'm from the start to the end. Then I came from work this afternoon. I listened to it. Tomalin George made a promise to our listener last night. We have more than 2,000 followers last night. Tomalin George said there was a.
Come on, it's very more audio, Benny. Man, I thought definitely.
He made a promise to our listener that he was going to play an audio today to Senator Johnson.
The audio not ready yet.
Play that audio. I want to put you
Okay,
on.
audio not ready.
Which audio?
Okay. Audio not ready.
But guy, very serious.
I think some of the listeners are saying someone probably told Tomalin George not to play.
Eu vou estar aqui, Kehleboe was funny. What then, Kehleboe?
Think about it. When you say yesterday, you had audio or breaking
But he
news.
did say that. That's true. Tommy did
So
say
it was a promise. He made a promise to listeners.
It's not ready. Okay.
But what the audio about? What the audio about?
Wait, it's not ready.
The audio about the same thing.
He said,
About the speaker remover?
About the speaker remover.
Yeah, when you get ready, we'll play. It's not ready.
I'm reading the information from the source right now.
Let me ask this. Let me ask this question.
Never play that audio.
Let me ask this question, right? Can the CDC legislative caucus, can they make a decision? This is a very, very important decision. If they decide to collect whatever or to be a part of whatever to remove the speaker. As far as we know, the speaker is an integral part of the CDC party. Can they do this without without consulting and the agreement of George Weah? Because George Weah remains the head of the political party. So if the legislative caucus, who are diehard citizens, men of whom respect George Weah, sees him as their political leader, can they go ahead and do these things? I mean, there's a possibility, but won't that be a reflection on both the leadership and the popularity and influence of George Weah when it comes to these guys?
We're not president again. You don't get too much of comment on the floor.
Well, so I can give you,
I
can give you facts and information. I can confirm to you that President George Weah is extremely upset about this. In fact, he started making calls today. I can confirm to you, he started making calls today. He started reaching out to folks. But you got to understand, I said it here yesterday, right? I said it here yesterday that this notion that we got this amount of seditions in the national legislature, all of them don't listen. That you got Foco is diehard George Weah, right? There's several key guys that you know, and those guys will be the ones who would blow the alarm, and that's what you see happening right now.
But then that should be political. That should be political consequences, because again, Weah is solely responsible for a lot of the election of these guys.
Robert, there will be.
There's something against as well.
I've been told there will be consequences for this.
Well, yes, you're talking about consequences, and they will happen. Those people, when it comes to money, they don't see leader. They don't see commitment. They don't see who.
That's the problem.
When it comes to money, it's not.
I agree with you about it.
All the loyalty.
Well, that's a flawed strategy, because
people already formed the political bloc.
Money right now.
Part of the reason what I was saying, most of them now, the former president wouldn't have control. That's the problem in Liberia. Most of them will push to seek their personal interest at this critical junction, right? They won't listen. Now, there are few, as Ben Reckler intimated, few going to listen, very few going to listen. Most of them going to push the line. Now, what's going to embarrass them is that the alarm that's going to be pushed out, and folks going to amplify the process. Well, we're going to discuss it time to time, and they're going to be exposed. And the process of the mission, they're going to tie the executive to this process. Probably, I don't see this succeeding. For Madame Sirleaf, there was an alarm that came out. But Madame Sirleaf was very firm. She was head bent on removing Eddie Slow. She was also head bent on removing Tyler. But yeah, is it? Tyler was a very firm speaker.
Yeah, Tyler, it took almost 1 year.
Yeah, Tyler was firm. They attempted when we started up there, it went for almost 3 years.
It was a breakdown.
Yeah, because Tyler shared our own mind. Everybody was
Tyler was the oldest speaker in Liberia. That was very powerful. He was speaker for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
Right. So he did that. Let's see what Chairman Kofa.
9 years, and he went that broke.
No, it's not. I'm not going to the detail of broke or not broke.
But I don't think he got that kind of money to just waste like that.
Who?
Talking about $600,000. If you're talking about $600,000, I'm not sure what kind of money is on the table.
But
Eventually, to
what's
fight the
happening?
executive is difficult. To fight the executive in this kind of process, we just
Yeah.
have to find me. It's
It's
difficult because
difficult. It's difficult.
if Kofa succeed to deflect this fight now, he will only succeed after a year.
Yeah, but
That's the
the thing about it is this, right? The thing, here's why. Let's say we don't have political structure, right?
Yeah.
If you got more seditions in Congress,
Exactly.
if you got more seditions,
Robert,
and they are
let me
loyal.
say that. Let me put it in perspective.
Loyal.
But if you got more loyal sedition that is loyal to the party and George Weah, it should be an easy fit for George to get on the phone and say, "Look, gentlemen, we would not let this happen."
So we see how
the power.
let's wait and see how it
when
plays
it
out.
comes to money, this guy will disrespect the political leader just
Then there
for
should be
money.
consequences because without Joe Weah, a lot of you guys are nothing. They won't be elected. That's what I'm saying.
Let
Of course,
wait.
Robert.
For me, I think let's wait and see how it plays out. I think there's a lot of.
But I'm telling you, I've
there's a lot
got
of back and forth.
credible information right here.
Let's try to help
About
the
the
public,
plan.
right? Let's try to help the public because the public is following. I think we have almost around 2,000 people following us. So the whole issue around attempt to remove the speaker and all the information we're getting from Tomalin and Ben, that it's reliable, it's this and that. How can we present it? What is their interest? What the public got interest? This is the people's deputy in the house, the legislature. How are they trying to remove the speaker? And we're hearing about spending 600,000 or attempting to spend 600,000, and the people's bread and butter issues are still on the table. So can we, as this panel, right, the panelists here, can we discuss in a way that the public get to know that our people that we elected during the last election to work for us, to serve us, what's the interest? If they remove Speaker Kofa from there, how does it help Liberia? If Kofa stays, how does it help Liberia? So what's happening? How do we benefit from this process?
No, we don't benefit. They benefit because it's about money.
But how do we, as the people, benefit from removing Speaker Kofa?
The people will not benefit, but the lawmaker, the CDC lawmaker who now have money on hand that are going crazy, they're being disrespectful, they're being disloyal, are the one that benefiting because it comes from
what's
money.
the issue, people? What's the issue? What's the issue? They want to remove that speaker. Let them go ahead and remove that speaker. Right? For my issue is people should be concerned about serving Liberia. If the speaker is not doing, let them give out a genuine reason why they want to remove the speaker from there. If the thing the speaker is not doing well, in the best interest of Liberian people, let them tell us. But CDC want to move the speaker or bring who there? How does that benefit Liberia? How does that? You tell me now. Tell me how does that benefit us? If Kofa stay or remove, how does it benefit us as Liberians?
They don't care if they benefit Liberia. It benefit, they get money. They get money. They don't care what it benefit Liberia.
Johnny, the basic thing here is that the problem that in the country, this is part of the political maneuvering system in the country also. Now, we as pundit, as political analysts, or the commentator, or the politicians, will now have to take some time and further elaborate on this process and expose the AOC society. Sometimes we can deflect some of those things, right? So, by the discussion, the straightforward discussion tonight about this process, 600,000 being something of people trying to dethrone the speaker unconstitutionally or choose some unorthodox means, right? These are wrong issues that we should amplify. And what the reason behind wanting to remove the speaker? Is the speaker involved in malfeasance? No. Is the speaker involved in?
How can you say no?
The speaker is not involved in malfeasance. They want to remove. One minute. They want to remove the speaker because the speaker is pushing for accountability. The speaker wanted this to be accountable, right? So it's not my assumption. That's the principal reason why they want to do that. Folks that are trying.
You should tell us them.
As we move through the show, beginning tomorrow, moving forward, we'll start to name certain names, right? So you honestly, you have an appreciation as to what is unfolding behind the removal of the speaker.
Wow. So you're calling names now.
This
wow.
This speaker is not involved in any level of malfeasance, or he's not doing anything that is inimical to the laws of Liberia. This speaker is acting in conformity of the due process of law, accountability, and the rest of that, making sure that the public sector is moving through. The fact that the speaker will accept for the legislature to be audited, that is a humongous move by any politician in Liberia. It has not happened before.
It hasn't happened.
It hasn't. They haven't. And Johnny, you know the rest of the story. I have worked with the GSC before. I know how political
Because the speaker,
process about auditing those institutions.
Yeah.
When we work with the GSC, when you talk about audit of the legislature, that problem. That's the time they even stop the GSC of being financially and to give the GSC some level of financial autonomy. Because we push for the GSC to be autonomous and they refuse.
So we let me the discussion. So why should the speaker not be removed? Why are the strong measures? So bring those issues also the public would know that.
The law is clear.
One minute,
for cost.
Fine, the cost, right?
For cost.
So I want this platform to help our Liberian people to know why this group wants to remove Speaker Kofa and why those valuable and the humongous thing he's doing, the interest of Liberian people that he's doing that people should not remove him. Then the people gotta know what's happening.
I think they want to we got like 25 more minutes.
Are we assuming or is
I think they want not assuming they want to remove the speaker because of personal greed. This all about money. They are not all about serving the people of that country.
What the speaker has been doing the last 9 months.
But Johnny, we've been saying that the primary
chance to talk. I'll give you time.
Audit. That one of the key reasons. He's called for
audit, right?
And when they call for audit, it will implicate a lot of people.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that's even in the Senate who are members of the House.
Now has gotten the information that Speaker wants of legislature, and there are people
not that he wanted. He has
I don't want your class with lecturing. I don't want your class.
Not that he wanted. He has already commissioned the audit. The audit has been commissioned by him.
All right, good.
Yeah, so but Johnny,
we know.
The legislature got problem. We've never audit. You know it is to now. Okay, listen, Johnny. When we came to the accountability process, we set the Public Account Committee, the PSC. The PSC were part of the process of accountability. The PSC and that's the PSC, the GSC report directly to the PSC. What the World Bank did, the World Bank set up a secretariat for the PSC, the broad technicians, to help review most of the audit reports, have public hearing on those audit reports, and report to the legislature through the PSC, and the PSC would condense those reports, do a sharp analysis, and report to the legislature. Then the legislature will advise the executive to either go to court or not. That's part of the responsibility of the legislature. So if you got the PSC, and then you don't want to see accountability, if you want other people to be accountable, what do you need to do, Johnny? If folks have to be accountable, what you have to do, you yourself have to be accountable. They say we talk about equity. Your hands should be absolutely clean.
And let me warn: if anybody who involved in this thing, if you're my friend, I will expose you. We'll call your name. We'll expose you and shame you because it's bad for our democracy. It's bad. Let you guys know. I just told somebody, if you are involved in this thing, we'll expose you. We'll call your name, call you out. It's bad. They remove snow. They remove tallow. I mean, forget about self-greed. I mean, what's that? They won't do the one again. Hey, you move this man. You're trying to do it your way. Get a contract to the Jubilee Party.
Look,
they'll control everything.
A very prominent lawmaker called me and said, Peabody, I need to reach the speaker. He said, but there's something going on that is so bad that some trusted people who you can trust are now taking money and they got money on hand so they can go against the speaker. He said it's bad for the country, it's bad for our party, and it's bad for leadership in our country. He said it's bad. And I had to say, I was trying to find the number to even get it to him. He said, I need to get his number in America and call him immediately. I'll be the first one to tell him what's going on and what they're doing. It's bad for our country. We can't go with our money a little bit. We can't go and say we're going to stand for something when nobody is there. All day it's about money. So we will even violate the very law. The very people that will go to represent will stand against them only because people giving up getting $10,000 or $20,000. What happened to that money? At the end of the day, they can't show a comma. The moment they leave office, they got nothing to show. They're walking in the street broke like Joshua rat, like what Liberian people would say. You know, that is so. I mean, if they do it, it will be.
You can say you expose them. Let me call their names. Don't forget it.
Any phone call tonight?
No phone call. No, we're just wrapping up now.
Wrapping up. Let's do our closing and then we'll go. Yeah.
For my closing, I want to say. Let me say this. I want to recognize my brother and one of our strongest supporter, Ben Sanvee. Right now he's in France with his wife on the 30th anniversary. I want to say congratulations, my brother Ben, and best wishes. And I pray I hope that God give you guys long life and bless your marriage. Also, today is also the birthday of the Honorable Minister of State and Acting President now, Sylvester Grisby, Ambassador Grisby, today's birthday. And he asked me to send a special shout out to him. So, Ambassador Grisby, happy birthday from the TCA crew. I hope one day you appear on our show so we can grill you. We look forward to that. And lastly,
what you going from the TCA group? I told you the same birthday greeting.
Okay, yeah. Papa watching you. Papa.
Just say I just messing.
Yeah, also, I want to say this to President Boyka.
Happy birthday.
Please, as you try to appoint your new DA leaders, don't forget the former. This guy served honor of President Sirleaf, Colonel Alex Dixon, former guy of the National Fire Service. Colonel Dixon should be considered. I heard he's one of those top on the list to be considered for the DEA, and also Colonel Asher P. Silver Fox. These two gentlemen, I believe, will take the DEA to another level. And the Minister of Commerce, I recommend. Oh yeah, everybody leave me alone. I've done it.
All right, let me do our closing. Yeah, let me also recognize Ben. Ben was with a Ben Kehleboe from Delaware. Wishing a blessed anniversary. 30 years of marriage is not anything joke. We're wishing all the best with his family, wishing God's blessing. Ben have been one of our strongest supporters here on the Closing Acumen, and we wishing all the best. But guys, been a great show. And let me say to those cockroaches that are planning to remove the speaker, those ants that always want to get in Koki Jai, it'd be bad for our democracy. It will be bad for the CDC. It will be bad for our country. You better go back and reconsider. Stop threatening this man. Every day you're removing for what? For what? That money business again? Every second? Money. What's wrong with you guys?
It will fail.
The man have a meeting with the president, you're removing. Why he talking to the president? That is bad for democracy. Even the great America, you have the president and the speaker sometimes do meet and have meeting and talk. We need to stop that. That is wrong for our country. And that money thing, y'all give the people money back. That's too bad. Y'all get to put the money back.
He said, get to put the money back. All right, yeah. My closing is very simple. We want to thank you guys for the show. Great conversation.
Ben, I beg you 1 minute. Lai tomorrow guest is Lai Bealded, the CEO for Renaissance Communications. Our guest tomorrow. Lai Bealded, he ran district number 4, and he'll be our guest tomorrow. Lai Bealded. I want to announce to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so great discussion. I think we are people. I mean, I've been getting my phone has been buzzing with different intelligence, different people. I think they seem to be on top of this. But you can never say never. You know that, Liberia. You can never put your neck on the line and say, "Oh, this thing cannot happen." But from what I have been seeing here, from the interaction back and forth, I think there is a good bit of the folks who have been approached that have made it very clear that they're not interested in this. And I want to salute Representative Musa Bealded, who's on top of this. He's playing a lead role in trying to bust this plot. Representative Yeke Koluba, there's been a bunch of them. There's been a bunch of other representatives who have come through. I think Peabody just said that some folk have reached out to him also. But we're going to be monitoring and see what happens. We'll see what happens, and hopefully we don't have a distraction and an abruption in our democratic process, as PU would say. Let's wait and see what happens. Again, like I say, I can't pass anything by these guys. I know the former president is working the phone also. I know folks from the CDC. Like I said, a meeting is being called for tomorrow to find out what's going on. I know McGill is also involved. There's some of the folks they're trying to work the lines to see what's going on here and who is about them. But the good news, like Tomalin said, I think we have a clear sense of who some of the players are, who some of the people are that are leading this effort. We're not going to keep quiet about this. We're going to continue to talk about it. I think that's at the end of the day, everybody deserves a right. The country deserves a right to continue to move on, and let's see how the governance will continue to proceed. But great show, guys. Thank you. Pewee?
Yeah, thank you. So basically, the rule of our country engagement, democracy, is to protect the interests of the people of Liberia. That is very critical. Is part of the process that we already projected ever since we started advocating on behalf of the country to move forward from the level of the University of Liberia, from the level of the New Progressive, and back into politics and the rest of that. We will travel, and that's one of the reasons. Recent time, when I was in Liberia, we went through the hinterland of the country. Folks are having some difficult time. We didn't let this president or this government to begin the process of this internal rumbling and the rest of that. I think wobbling this side and the other side, I think it's counterproductive towards the country moving forward. So if the president, if this is true, I mean, this is a very serious ground for some concerns, and we should find out who is approving this thing. It happened in the past government. It should not. The Unity Party should not be noted for always removing speakers. No, there were 2 speakers removed during the term of the Unity Party. 2 speakers, Speaker Tyler and that was Speaker Snow. That was wrong. And at the time, some of us advocated against it, and we're going to be loud on this one. If it is clear that it is established that this money came from the Transport Ministry, that minister should be dismissed immediately by the president. It is established, and then we should find, because 600,000 is a huge chunk of money to just dash into those kind of unproductive issues that would bring nothing, basically change nothing in terms of the country moving forward. There's a lot of social services we need to be handled in the country. So if this is true, it's wrong, and we will have to categorically condemn it as the alleged aspect of what is unfolding now. Condemn it very heavily, and then because it's serious. But I know that Speaker Kufa is a firm person; he's strong, and we going upon this side of it. We will be loud in trying to remind the people of Liberia to begin the process of understanding what is unfolding quickly. So I think, President Walker, whatsoever you are, I think it's important beginning tomorrow, you have to call your people. If you are the one giving the instructions, you have to stop it. If it is established that is the case, I will ask your indulgence to stop those kind of things and let the country move on a more productive side of it. And that's why the reason why the speaker even said what he said yesterday, folks didn't understand it, because the speaker cannot be seen to be combative, right? And on the other hand, we cannot be seen to be trying to illegally exercise the domain of structural power. We don't weaponize those kind of lines in terms of our political decision-making process. So quickly again, I would think Tomalin and the Peabody, we should look tomorrow into this process about quickly also, or maybe on Thursday, this alleged issue that is unfolding in Monrovia. The police arrested someone with a tune of almost 30,000 United States dollars. It's alleged that half of the money were extracted from that, and then they reported an amount that was far different from what they arrested. And that is a serious problem. You don't arrest someone. If there's an issue about arrest, you have to report the money. If it's a criminal money, report it. That money can be used as evidence. If you went to court, the court will decide if the government will use the money. The same thing happened during Ellen time. The amount of almost 500,000 US dollars was caught on a Nigerian business person, allegedly a drugs dealer, and that money was used by the Liberian government in that alligator story at the time when the late Tandapodi, Moses Tandapodi, said brought a whole debate about that thing. So it's a serious debate. I think we need to pay some serious attention here.
Tell me that one will go.
Yeah.
That true story. The guys of Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, right?
Yeah. The police. Well, Gregory Coleman has to answer some question about that issue. It's serious. I heard he suspended the guy and turned out, but no, that's not enough.
Nothing will happen. That's
we'll dig behind and we'll expose them.
Let me close on this note. I want to caution the people's deputy to know their role in the legislature. I understand the legislature, the House of Legislature is a place, or is a theater. A lot of things happen in there. We understand that. But I want to encourage them to know that the people's interest matter. Their interests matter. Our economy is the source of our existence. We need to improve the economy such that income generation is available to people. the level of unemployment from a sociological background, unemployment leads to a lot of social problems in society. So we want to encourage them, let them focus on working with the executive, looking at consensual agreements that will generate job opportunity for Liberian people. We have young people in the country that have skills, that have graduated from several universities around, they need to work. Let that be their priority. If for any reason they realize that the leadership of the legislature or the representatives is not working in their interest, they can go ahead and resolve it in a way that it doesn't undermine the core value of their job. Our school system need to be, they have a very big task to improve our education, our basic infrastructure. So let me encourage all of them. And if that is a priority, then what are you there for? Because if you want to move people to a speaker, how does that make us to get better education system, better health system? How does that even improve the income such that the young people have job to do and get some income? How do we reduce unemployment? That should be the issue we're discussing as legislature. How can we look at the current, the new budget is coming, right? By January next year, we have a new budget. We should be contemplating now how can that budget be constructed in a way that it impact the people's life in this country. We get about tourism here. How are they looking at the tourism sector to support our economy? How are they looking at how can we improve our mining sector, our agricultural sector? So for me, I don't want to see why they want to put their interest in removing a speaker as compared to working in the best interest of Liberian people. So, but Peabody, my RA brother, thank you so much for the value of being an RA. Except that my man Tomalin, then Pewee, then Pewee, we got different relationship again, so I can't talk much. Unfortunately, I couldn't be my brother Garguah. We tried to get connected, but my schedule was so tight.
They mentioned the secretary to you got to make a
I'm
sorry, man.
They were literally 8 minutes away from me. I said, my man,
yeah,
it was
easy, my man. My schedule was tight. I couldn't make it, brother. I had a tight schedule.
I won't sleep.
I stayed all too long talking about me. I was so tired I couldn't come to you. Sorry, but guys, you guys are much appreciated. I see you guys as brothers. Like I said in the chat room, we're not just on the show as panelists, but we are building a relationship now. You can imagine I built a relationship at the airport, a gentleman with a Nigerian fellow, you understand? And a Ghanaian guy at that airport. And that relationship is going to go far in my life and most Liberians in our life when it comes to the airport. So it pays a lot to make friends. It pays a lot to make friends and just tell people who you are. Thank you so much. I'm here. Once I have the opportunity to be on the show, I will join you guys, make my little contribution so we can make Liberia better. Thank you.
Tony's talking happy today. Your internet day buffer.
The man just returned from America, man.
My man, you see Starlink, man. I'm using Starlink.
What were you at Emirates? What happened?
I don't know him. Who is the Emirate guy? I don't know him.
My cousin.
Listen. Let me tell you something.
I don't know him.
Neo Progressive. Let me tell you
I've
something.
seen him before. Maybe the man want to learn from me.
Neo Progressive.
He's a smart guy. Emirates a smart guy.
I don't know him. I don't know him.
I've
seen him before.
Emirate's a nice guy. Okay.
Don't mind.
He's a nice guy. Don't mind all this. Don't mind all the technique. He's a nice guy.
No, but he's a nice guy. How you gonna guide students though?
No. It's all joke stuff. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I think once you engage him on a phone conversation.
No. Raul. I don't have to engage on a phone conversation, right? My conversation here to discuss partisan issue is something that I'm deeply taught to and understand deeply. So if I give an opinion on issue and you don't understand those things, reach up to me. But to come and be petty, right? You're gonna tell I will be on the kind of line. You're gonna know me. Come on, I don't.
They're trying to get you off balance. That's what I'm telling you. That's what it is.
Your family, people will hit you hard. I don't
have issue with that, though. I don't have issue with that. I don't have issue with that.
I think when you enjoy the job, but when we are school,
they can notice it at the giant book and walk after the weeklies.
I guess, but Emmer he's a great guy.
Yeah, but what I would try to do for him, I will inhale some of the intellectual breath through him, so he will be encouraged to stand up. That's what I would do. You know what? That's what I would do. So
let me get my clothes.
I don't have issue with him, man. No.
Let me get my clothes and go.
We double or now.
I am very happy. I'm very happy today. I am extremely happy today that the head coach of the national team has officially resigned. So I'm very, very happy because I think this guy was on the path of truly destroying our national team. Yes, based off of the performances, especially what I saw yesterday. I think that had he, invited some great players. Look, we can talk about the fact that the national government have not supported the national team as it should. We can talk about those things. The lack of support. Players are still requesting their $1,000 a parent's fee from Equatorial Guinea and Liberia. We can talk about these things. But at the end of the day, what the coach have done, this is the first Lone Star team that I've seen in many, many years that did not have a natural winker. Look at what happened with Sierra Leone today. And then people keep saying SKD got bad luck. How SKD got bad luck, but Sierra Leone, who borrowing SKD from us, are able to beat Ivory Coast.
But that lazy thing the goalkeeper did yesterday,
the goalkeeper made a mistake yesterday.
Robert, I just contacted Coach Mario Maraninka, and he gonna respond to you. He'll come on the show to respond to you.
Let him come. Tell him to come. Are we waiting for him?
Sierra
Leone beat Cote d'Ivoire at SKD in Monrovia. Everybody winning in Monrovia by Liberia.
But and then beat in Monrovia. Let
me say this. I'm happy he's gone. I myself gonna go to Liberia to protest for that man. I mean, can you imagine? Lone Star is an entertaining team. We're used to entertainment, great football. This man came and started introducing boom, 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 boom football, left and right. You just kicking the ball left and right. So I'm happy he's gone. I will urge the government now to continue to support the program. Get Ansu Keita back.
His name is Robert. His name is Robert Garguah, the guy who plays. He coming. Your meeting when he comes.
Robert, the goalkeeper scored his own goal yesterday. Is that the coach that kicked the ball in Liberia?
No, but I didn't say boom football.
He's lazy, man. They get all the support to beat them.
He don't want to get that. The boom football. That's a technique. That's his philosophy. But I'm glad he's gone. Now it's time for us to trust our own Liberian coach. I would recommend we bring James Diba back. Give him the support. Pay him the same $15,000 you pay the white coach. Invest in the national team. And I believe we have the young players abroad. The young players abroad.
Why can't Diba have money? But
that's the problem with us. We will get the white man the money, but now we're own. But guess what? That Diba has a better record than his coach, and even Butler. He came this close to qualifying Liberia.
Diba should be given. I think Diba should be given another chance. He should be
given another chance. I said, give the national team to James Diba.
Give it to him and get him the support.
Huh?
Give it to him and get him the support.
That's it.
Nice house for him to live in. Nice house.
Yeah, Ansu Keita back to the youth team.
Taylor Gibson, stop it. Taylor Gibson, stop what you're doing.
Yeah, Ansu Keita back to the youth team.
But listen now. That 600,000 they're using to bribe those CDC lawmaker, they could use it for Lone Star.
Can you imagine?
Johnny, drive we want.
The brother, Marcelo speak Bassa yet. Brian Marcelo don't speak Bassa.
I heard you speaking Bassa before the show, so.
Well, gentlemen, you have a good night, man.
Next time we'll have the show, the last part of the show being in language now. Every time
we do that. We'll talk, we'll communicate to our people too. We gotta have some for showing our vernacular someday. Let us put listen to this.
Well, how about if you can't speak any language, you will not come on this show.
Yeah, that kind of show will keep you up.
Yeah.
Gotta Lofa Julius will stay up. You that kind of show. You can speak
we can make it. You like giants.
Yeah.
Feel like Gibson. I don't like it.
All right, guys. Yeah, have a good night.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I see y'all, man. Yeah, have a good night.
What? Who's the
What? Sylvester, what happened?
I don't know. I want to know about you.
Maybe reading messages.
Oh, okay, I see. All right, guys. Good night.
Okay.
What's on carrier ID 78903. The channel Saudi may still requires your immediate attention, not calling if you all these messages.